what's up? All you haters. We got a former hater. He drank a lot of haterade the last year, but he's back. The one, the only, beautiful himself has joined us. What's up, Tristan?
First of all, you dead named me again. Yeah. No, this is a new era, Jay. This is a whole new era. I'm no longer.
Well, it took the.
I'm
I
no
know that the
longer. No, I
treatments,
detransition. I'm a MAGA influencer
the
now. I
treatments, the
detransition.
treatments took
Yeah.
about a year.
No, no. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So now I'm actually a looks maxer, MAGA influencer. I've been here. Let me show you. Got
But
my face hammer.
okay,
I've upgraded. I've actually gone beyond. Yeah, see, I'm a millennial, so we do things right. Like all these Zoomers with their little face hammers. I have a face jackhammer,
damn
right? So
son,
this is
damn son, where'd you find that?
if you want to really get results, you go right to the right there. You hear that? You just grind into it. Just grind your teeth. And yeah. So this is um, I'm a MAGA influencer now. I'm no longer trans, so I'd appreciate you just call me by
The
my
only
name.
the only appropriate response to all that is, do you remember back like 15 years ago when the underground rap songs would play a clip of the radio announcer and he would go, "Damn son, where'd you find that?"
No, I never heard
You've
that
never
one.
heard
I don't
that?
know.
Oh,
Damn, son. I know.
it's
Damn,
it's
son.
in a shit ton of it's in a ton of rap
Oh
videos. It's
shit.
in a bunch of rap videos. Damn son, where'd you find this?
What year would that have been?
Um, I remember it being in like Little B rap videos
Oh,
like
that's like
10 years ago.
that's you young bucks. I don't know about I don't know about any rap past like 2005
Dude, I
or
don't care
six,
about I don't
really.
care about rap. I'm just talking about the funny little you know how the air horn
People get all defensive about it, Jay,
remember
but no,
remember
like
air horns? Beep, 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 beep. This was
you're just
like the
making you
2010s version of the air. Damn son, where'd you find this?
just making incoherent sounds is
No, come on
abusive. This is
now.
like the you new Zoomer talk. We just
This
make
is why you retired. You know what
like
an
the
air horn
Mexican
is?
whistle.
You know what a rap air horn is now? Come on now, son.
Air horn. Oh my goodness. You're just making up these outlandish stories now, Jay. No, I'm joking. Um, thanks for having me on, dude. I always appreciate you. Jay's the number one supporter of my channel. Even Jay's a bigger supporter of my channel than even I am. Jay's always like telling me for like all the time, hey
I
dude,
like
when are you
Tristan's
start
channel
streaming?
more than Tristan. Tristan actually hates his channel. I actually like it.
Jay's a bigger supporter of my channel. I'm my channel's biggest hater. Jay's always Jay's always trying to. He's like, dude, get back on YouTube. What are you doing? I miss your stuff. So I really do appreciate that, and over the years, and it's great seeing you blow it up, man. Like it's now you. I mean, the last you and I did a lot of streams together over the years, and I remember when we first started out, we'd be like under 100 viewers most of it. We'd start out under 100, maybe we'd get like a couple hundred, and that felt big. And then I don't know, maybe the last time you and I streamed together, I think on your channel, maybe you get like 600, 700, and that was big. But now I'm just, I mean, it's not all about numbers, obviously, but you know, you put in the work, put in all the repetitions, and you got the 2,000 live viewers regularly, man. That's
No,
awesome.
excuse me. The Epstein week, we've had 3,000 live consistently, but
I
yeah,
wouldn't know. I don't. I'm not familiar with your channel. This is my assistant did research for
this
me.
is the
That was
yeah.
all scripted,
You're
by the
reading
way.
the
I'm gonna fire
teleprompter.
her.
You're reading the
Yeah.
teleprompter like Candace.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a big numbers guy. I
Okay,
don't know
so
all
I
the
mean,
numbers.
okay, so and then like so, okay, so you got a teleprompter like Candace over there. I know how it is. I know how it is.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
it's funny because you and I were talking about millennials and kind of our generation. Jay being you're like a cusper, right? You could pass as Gen
elder
X, but you're pretty
millennial.
much
Well,
you're millennial. Yeah, you're millennial. You're millennial in your exposure to the internet too. So yeah, and Candace is like the ultimate millennial wine mom. She's it's been fun seeing her kind of blow up, and I don't know. You and I both that we've talked behind the scenes how friends of ours who get really into Candace, and we're always so surprised. We're like, dude, this stuff is. Like this person's discernment is seriously off. Candace is not.
He's not talking about John Adams. John, that's not a joke directed at
John,
you.
yeah, no, but all right. I am talking about John specifically and his massive crush on Queen Can, on Candace. But it's funny seeing the millennial kind of crowd latch on to her. But she, I think a big part of it is, and you've talked about this before on your stream, but so many people are waking up to the fact that, I mean, what happened in 2020 was huge. That was something that it was a shot to the face for everybody, including us, because it was also, when that was all happening, especially in the beginning, I remember just feeling, I was just feeling really upset, just angry of like, look at this now. Look how far it's gone. And here it is. Here we are. And just seeing everybody just jump into it, right? And everybody just full on become completely unhinged and lose all discernment and have zero questioning of narratives and just waiting for instructions from television screens, social media. And it was surreal. And then the haze slowly started to fade and people kind of got clarity. And we've seen a ton of people who'd never considered these things, who maybe had conversations with back in the day and they'd laughed it off, get really interested in these topics. And the Epstein issue, I mean, this is 2019, when Epstein didn't push backspace on himself, when he didn't backspace himself. We were talking about this, but now what is it? It's 7 years later. I mean, you and I remember us doing boiler rooms and talking about all the Epstein stuff back 2019, and it's it also gets a little tiresome, but it's funny seeing Candace because she's just, I don't know, she's like, if yeah, she's like a millennial woman who's got a mild intelligence millennial woman with zero discernment at all has discovered the 2007 internet, and she's doing like Steve Quayle, the Nephilim giants are,
Yeah.
they're gonna
Yeah.
wake up they're gonna wake up Gilgamesh from like underneath the Washington Monument, and the Washington Monument is actually Gilgamesh's real phallus, but it's also a free energy device, and me and Charlie Kirk used to talk about his third eye all the time. It's like, it's amazing to see. It's actually become pretty comical at
Yeah, it
this
is.
point.
It's not a direction I would have expected for high profile, political type commentators, because she had, prior to all of this stuff, as you know, she was, back in the day, she was red pill black, and it was a lot of politics, and it was a lot of, men, women, red pill stuff, I think originally, and then it turned into hardcore, Blexit, getting black people out of the Democratic Party was a big thing that she
Wait,
was.
she was red pill stuff back then? I thought she
Well,
was just
no, she had
she
a.
was like token MAGA black lady. I thought she was the token conservative black chick.
I think during the period, and I may be wrong about this because I didn't really follow her, but it's the first time I heard about her. She was on Ralph Retort, even back when she was red pill black, and I don't recall if that was red pill in the conspiracy sense or like,
Mm.
because I think she was actually talking about. Do you remember Mike Cernovich's documentary Red Pill? Because that was about men's rights.
No, I
Yeah,
was yeah, all that
I
stuff
think
bypassed me.
that's
That
what
whole
I think
section.
that's why she was using that title for a while, but I'm not. I may be wrong about that. I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't really hear about her until, she went on Alex a few times. I remember she was on Ralph Retort and she was getting kind of popular, and then she kind of really got popular when it was Kanye was sharing her stuff because she was pushing Blexit, right? Black people exiting the Democratic Party,
Yeah,
and
I think her use of red pill back then would have been, because red pill didn't get really fully, uh, didn't get really that term hadn't been fully adopted by the men's rights people, or hadn't been popularized widely, and it didn't really come around till like Tate
no,
era type thing.
actually, it was your Tate took that, but I think it was, if I if I recall, it was Cernovich's documentary. Excuse me. And people in the chat, you guys, if you know this, you can. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah. No, we're
recall. You
just
can answer.
speculating on lore that I have no idea about now. So
That's
yeah, they'll
okay.
correct us.
I mean, it's always been that way. You're just sort of talking about what you don't know, but we're here to help you. We're here to help you
Yeah,
source that
I really
information.
appreciate that.
We're
Yeah.
gonna do a Trent Horn and make it work. We're gonna come up with a way to explain whatever you're saying as somehow true.
Yeah, you're
Um,
retard explain. You're gonna retard explain on my behalf because, yeah,
but
I actually hold an immense amount of power behind the scenes, and I'm running a massive blackmail operation, and this is why Jay says nice things about me consistently. I've got all the dirt on Jay.
I want to say though that she did have an angle, but I don't remember that was about male female issues, divorce rates with women, and if anybody in the chat, if you're familiar with that lore, you can correct me or whatever. I don't remember, but anyway, long story short, then it became more and more political, and then she blew up from there. But um, yeah, it's definitely not what I would have expected the direction to go with her, but um, it's also like you said, very very millennial, and she reminds me of like if I was to really figure out what she is the people are telling me about Trent Horn. I'm getting distracted. She is the mean girl from either Mean Girls or the black chick in like uh Clueless, right? Candace is like
Mm,
the preppy mean girl black chick from Mean Girls.
yeah. What's funny to me is Candace is from the East Coast, but she talks like all the girls that I grew up with in Southern California. So she has the Valley Girl accent through MTV and through a lot of these reality shows. I think for our generation, when we were in high school, I feel like Candace is about my age, but she could be younger, she could be older. But I'm getting up there in age, man. It's hard to imagine people actually existing that are older than me. I feel like the Zoomers sometime where wow, like there are people that are actually older than me. Um, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, she speaks with a Southern California kind of app speak, and Charlie, and I
Okay.
used to talk about his third eye all the time.
She
And
says okay.
okay, all right,
She
okay
says okay.
at the end of every sentence. So Charlie and I would always talk about his third eye, okay? And we would actually sometimes astral project together. We would meet each other in the third layer of the astral plane. And yeah, he's actually his spirit body and his light cord are like beautiful and scintillating, and he knows that I know that. But she speaks like the girls I grew up with in Southern California is what's funny, and that kind of speaks to the power of mass media and the American accent and the American dialect has been smashed all into one thing. I mean, I know people from the South who, as soon as they leave the South, they lose their Southern accent. And it's intentional, right? They feel as if the Southern accent it's this status symbol of poverty and of ignorance, and that's the mass media programming. But it's weird how everyone just defaults to this MTV. I just talk like this.
Yeah,
It's
I
haunting.
wonder why
It's
that like
very annoying.
what if you had to speculate like because you spent way more time out in California than I did. I was only there for a
Mm.
few years, but like why do you think the Valley Girl accent developed? Like is it just who knows some random thing? Like
It
what?
wasn't. Yeah, I think it did come from like San Fernando Valley, and it came out of specific parts of Los Angeles, but there's still regional dialects all throughout the coastal areas in California. So, kids, I mean, I can meet somebody that's from North County, San Diego, and I know within 2 sentences, I'm
Oh
like, oh
really?
dude, you're from Encinitas. Yeah, I met this guy recently. He's older too. He's in his 50s. And this is an accent that he's had for so long, but it's this people would hear it and they'd say it sounds like a surfer bro. But it's just like, oh yeah, what's up, dude? Oh yeah, like, oh, where are you from, man? Like, yeah, yeah, what up, dude? Like, and you're talking, this guy's in his 50s, late 50s. And I mean, what are you from, like Encinitas or something? He's like, yeah, dude, how did you know? I'm like, because you talk like this, dude. So there are regional dialects all around. But I think what really spread it was films of Clueless were pretty big in the 90s, and
Yeah, good
then
point. Yeah.
MTV reality shows. There was this one called Laguna Beach. They
I
started pumping
forgot
out,
about that. That was popular,
yeah.
yeah.
So the reason, and this was the prototype for streaming, for IRL streaming, and the people you see now, like Clavicular and all these Zoomers, yeah, I Show Speed, even and a lot of these people, the the prototype for that was the cheap reality show. It was, you know, Real Housewives of Orange County, things like this. But the young reality shows really caught the millennials, and they would make them into, you know, it was all fake drama. It was played up, but the Laguna Beach was a big one. And I think that era of MTV specifically for millennials just brain fried everybody.
It did,
And
yeah. My brother,
etched it
my
in.
brother is younger. He's closer to you, and I remember age wise, he was always watching Real World and all those like MTV reality shows, type stuff like that. So, anyway, I'm just remembering that era of the
No,
explosion
I
of the
think it'd be
reality show,
interesting.
and how weird that was. And that you're right, that did prepare. I never even thought about that. That actually prepared the way for live streams. But
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it's not, I don't think it's that profound of an insight, but I think it'd be interesting to go back and look at those shows. You know, I think culturally, sociologically, that that was a big transition time.
well,
Because I mean, it's also it's
remember Real
yeah,
World, real quick.
yeah.
Speaking of, they were pushing. Remember Pedro? He was like one of the first AIDS gay characters that they were really pushing, and then they brought
What
on.
year was that?
That was like the first few seasons of Real World, right? Pedro was a major character, and he was
I
the
no, I didn't see those. I would have only seen ones from the early 2000s, I think, and late nine, you know, maybe from the late 90s.
yeah. This is late '90s, but mid to late '90s, because the
Okay.
first season of Real World was just them living in a house, and then it was Road Rules with a spinoff. And then they had that one Christian guy with the cowboy hat that was a country singer, John. They all made fun of
You
him.
like how they typecast that. Oh, we'll get him.
Exactly.
He's gonna be a good old country boy. He's Christian. He's
They
got an
all hated
89
him.
IQ. He's real pretty boy. He's nice to look at, but he's a functional
He's a goober
retard.
and a retard. Yep.
He's a functional retard. Never done any drugs. He's very real straight. Um, yeah. No, Real World. I forgot about that show too. That was big. But do they do Real World anymore? Is it over?
Oh yeah, that ended a long time ago. I mean, I don't know when it ended, but I think you're talking about like the later 2000s phases, those shows that took off, and even the Kardashians even still comes out of that ethos of
That's
yeah.
huge. Yeah, and
And by the way, the
they're big proponents of that
And by the
acronym.
way, people are speaking of Epstein. So I think they were making some Kardashian Epstein connections, which I didn't even get to that yet. So I don't know if that's legit, but I saw people claiming that. And then the
Yeah,
Kardashians,
okay.
huh?
Oh, that makes sense. Sorry, yeah.
I haven't looked at it yet, but I did save it so we can check it out. But the Kardashians too kind of continued that weird evolution of the vocal fry, right? That comes from them, doesn't it? I mean, they probably got it from vocal
Yeah.
fry.
No, it's bad. It's really
I
bad.
mean, is
No,
that you could tell me the regions, like, is that the same sort of region of the Valley girl accent? Is it evolving into that, do you think?
oh, maybe I didn't finish that thought. I think it spread as a virus spread throughout Southern California, and then because of the cultural mechanism of Los Angeles, you know, San Fernando Valley, and Southern California at the time, that was the nexus point for culture creation. And culture creation, they were going for the cheapest stuff. You've got this temporary flash in the pan celebrity, and you don't need to pay these people in the reality shows. That's what they like. Low production quality, low production value, super high return. People are making personality cults about it. Oh my God, did you hear? Like, Steven said this and he cheated on just like, and
Yeah,
everyone's
exactly.
trying to act like these people. So and that's why everyone now says, "Oh my God. Oh my God." And it's like it just a lot of these statements came out of that area and that era. But I think there's something about California when you look at the history of it. I remember doing a stream on that book. Oh my goodness, I forget the author. What's the female? She wrote that book on Caltech and the rise of the new biology.
RuPaul?
Um, no.
You talking about,
So
the
yeah,
molecular vision of life?
the molecular vision of life, Caltech, and the rise of the new biology. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that
So
because of
yeah,
you. You're the one that got me to get this. Yeah.
dude, that book is really good. How did you even find a
I
real
had to
copy
wait
of it? I had
until
to
it
print
popped
out a
up.
PDF.
Yeah, I had to wait until it popped up
Would
for
you spend
sale.
$100 on it or something?
Probably, yeah,
200 bucks?
probably.
Yeah. Yeah. I just printed it out for $5 at a copy store. So but that book gets into the history of Silicon Valley. And this is something I'm really fascinated with right now. And I'm doing a little bit of research for something that I've been I don't know what it'll become, but it's kind of like it's a fiction project that takes place in California around Silicon Valley. And I haven't decided how much of the history and lore of that whole area I want to pull in, but you had the OTO and the resurrection of the Rosicrucian Order. A lot of that stuff was coming out of San Jose. You have modern rocketry, obviously Silicon Valley and cybernetics. Um, Silicon Valley is kind of the new Los Angeles, and California itself, the whole coast, the West Coast, it represents the furthest push of so-called Western progress, right? I mean, after you have this era of manifest destiny in the 19th century, and the expansion of the American project and the changing of what that American vision is going to be, and the railroads end when you hit that, those giant mudstone cliffs of the West Coast on the Pacific. And you've got the UN Charter signed in San Francisco after the Second World War. So the entire new order of this post-World War era, all of culture creation is centered in California. So I think symbolically, as in the American project and the project of Western philosophy, that coastline is something special. It represents something. Is this? You see that? Jay, I can't hear you. You're muted, bro. Unmute, bro. I
Somebody
finally get to say it to Jay.
somebody else tried to join that had the
How'd that
collab.
guy get the link?
Huh?
Who is that?
It could have been somebody playing around based on the last. I'm trying to think of who the last guest was. It might have been them.
No, that was clearly someone messing with you. But how do you think you got the link?
Well, that's what I'm saying is the only people that have that link would be a previous guest.
Okay. Why would it be the same link every time?
No, sometimes I just don't think to create a new link. So
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, all right. You might be able to change the settings so that somebody can't just bomb in on that.
let me hold on. Let me recreate a new link and then I'll send it to you and you come back.
Okay. Yeah. Stream sniped. He even had his name as Jay Liver. So
That was
that
super funny.
very strange. Yeah.
All right.
He didn't even have anything to say, too. I mean, you could have.
All right. So creating a different link for Tristana here. I'll send that to him. Stream sniped. Ow. So Tristan will be back here in a second, and I'll read a couple super chats. So Tristan, if you're watching, I sent you that link. Gravio says $20. A lot of synchronicity in California. What got us involved in World War II? You talking about Pearl Harbor? I'm not sure what you mean there, but Tristan, there's a new link. So click into that and I'll bring you up. I guess from now on I got to create new links, but I'm trying to remember who was the last guest that we had on, because it wouldn't be Kai. Kai wouldn't do that. Kai's not that kind of a jokester. What's up, dog? You're back.
Yeah, no, that was pretty brutal frame mogging, I have to be honest.
My cortisol did spike, but I was also able to Gooner max while you were gone, and now I've actually, restored my aura by 23 stats. So
Yeah, no, that was. I mean, I'm trying to get my cortisol back down from the brutal frame mogging. So, anyways, I think we'll recover.
you were
But,
talking
yeah,
about
no,
California as
just
the military-industrial complex mind control state.
Sure, but I mean, I don't have an answer to this, but it's an interesting question of why is that? And this is more of a, I mean, just at the conceptual level, it's there is something weird in California. There is kind of a anybody who's lived there, the people joke about, well, there's no magic dirt in this place or that place, but I don't know, California does kind of have a little bit of that magic dirt vibe. It's one of the most beautiful places in the world. I'm not saying there's literal magic dirt there, but
No, it's absolutely awesome.
it's an odd place, man. It's a beautiful place, and it's odd. You get out there in the redwoods in Northern California, where all Silicon Valley is, and it's creepy. I mean, it's not just creepy in the way of it being vast and feeling like this giant maw of trees that could swallow you, but it's there. There's so much lore out there. Like out in the hills around San Jose, going back for generations. There's rumors of weird albino cults. Right. I don't know why it's always albino. It's like everybody always says out in Los Gatos, there's a strange property.
What do
And
you
there are
mean
these
albino
two
cults? Are you joking? Or are you being serious?
it's just one of these things of lore in
Are you
California.
being
Like, oh,
serious?
don't go I'm literally serious. Don't go up that road. There's a weird albino cult up there of like weirdo inbred albinos that have been out there for 2-3 generations. This is the type of lore. I've never seen these people. I'm just saying this is, and these aren't, Bigfoot researchers and stuff, but there's weird stuff out there, man. There's a lot of they'll tell you stay out of certain areas of the woods because there are cults that live out there. There are people that went out there in the 1970s. How many of them are still out there? I don't know. But some of these groups are, 2-3 generations deep into their living out in the weirdo wilderness out there in California and,
Wow.
growing pot. And, there's certain areas where people just don't go out there. There are certain areas if you drive your car, and I think it's still even like this in regions in the Emerald Triangle, where don't park your car there. They will burn it. These people, there are, where the illegal pot growers have lived since the some of them since the 1950s. It's thought that some of the first pot growers moved into that Mendocino County area in the 50s, around like the Lost Coast over there. It's California is weird, and what's going on with the military industrial complex over there, and there being tons of military bases, military contractors, Moffett Airfield, these strange places like up where I went to the University of California, Santa Cruz, up Empire Grade. There's a giant Lockheed Martin facility, and Lockheed bought this in 1957. They bought it off of there were some ranchers out there before, and they built parts for Trident missiles up there and components for Trident missiles, and they were doing testing for these nuclear warhead delivery systems that were going to be shot out of submarines. And there were always rumors that they actually bored tunnels from the ocean to get to this facility, which is, I think, inland about, I don't know how far a bird's shot distance it is, but it's several miles inland, nestled up in the mountains, and they have like 4,000 acres, I think, of property. And right next to it is owned by the Church of Latter-day Saints. It's the LDS. Right next to the Lockheed facility, there's a little wooden sign that says Church of Latter-day Saints. And you're like, what the heck is this? And it's this janky old cattle fence with, rusted barbed wire. It's so it's just the aesthetics of California has been tied in with this stuff for so long. But getting back to Epstein, what's interesting about this culture creation, whatever you want to call it, this culture creation monster golem thing that is seemingly centered to California, is part of that is fashion. And it's interesting when you look at our generation, the millennials, and how all these big fashion brands of the early 2000s were Les Wexner brands, Limited, Abercrombie and Fitch, the American Apparel.
Hold on. I didn't know Abercrombie was. Is that one of them?
I know that's, Abercrombie's a big influence on Jay.
No, I'm serious. The reason I'm asking that is because
Abercrombie, dude.
Do you remember
there
was a huge scandal in the 2000s about Abercrombie showing like underaged people in the ads, and they were questionable.
Hey, somebody else just jumped in. You're gonna have to. Someone was trying to stream bomb you. You see it?
Yeah, that's weird because I did a new link. You didn't give the link to anybody, did you?
I mean, I might have a group of gang stalkers that are right now running psychological. You've been psyoped, Jay.
I'm being
I'm
serious.
your Fed handler.
Did you give it to
No,
somebody?
dude, I wouldn't give the link to anybody. I right clicked and copied it. So if
Well,
only I had
I
the
mean,
link,
there's
you have
nobody
the
that,
link.
like when you go to it, there's not actually anybody there. So I don't know what it is, but
Or they're in that, they got that Pegasus software.
well,
Up
there
on
was
that,
also
on that Pegasus
so the
vibe.
last few people that were on, it was Dasha and it was Jim Bob. So I was thinking the jokester out of that would be either Dasha or Jim Bob. Could be either one.
Wait, why can't you kick people out?
Because they're not
Wait,
actually,
what
they're
up,
not
Flake?
technically in. They're requesting to be on. So
Oh, so they're not in the stream.
no,
The
they're not
people
in the
can't
stream.
see Fway D. You should pull up Fway D right here. He's got a
Well, there's
got a
what's what I'm
handsome
saying.
head
When
of
you go
hair.
to it, there's nobody. There's nothing there. Like there's not a person there. It's just a profile requesting. So
That's weird because I can see Fway D.
what is it? What comes up?
He a black man.
Are you being serious?
He a black man. Hell yeah. It's my brother. How'd you get the link, bro?
Is it? Are you giving it to?
Use sign language. We can't hear you. Use sign language.
Are
How'd
you
get
giving
the
it
link?
to Chase? I can't tell if you're joking.
All right. Well, I'll just pull Fway D off of my screen and pretend he's not even there. It doesn't matter, I guess. We'll just keep going.
I'm being like so serious question. Like, are you actually seeing somebody there? Or are you messing with the stream? Or
Dude, I'll send you a screenshot right now. There's a black man. That black man watching us, Jay. I swear that a black man in the room with me right now. And I ain't the only black man in this room.
I can't tell if you're joking or if you gave it to Chase or something.
Bro.
Or like,
wait, what happened? What did I just do? You put it in the chat, he's saying. He held up a card right now and it said, you put it in the chat. This...
Oh, did I accidentally? Oh, I thought I was
boomer maxing.
No,
Jay's over here boomer
no, I've
maxing.
already streamed for 7 hours. I thought I was putting the link to the super chat, and it was copy and paste. It was still the link to give to you. That's what it is.
That's funny. So the chat just thinks you're inviting everybody onto the stream.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, no, that's all. I don't even have to go to him, so just ignore him.
All right.
So anyway,
you gotta go. Anyways,
I was like, damn, dude,
it's very distracting.
I was like, last person to get that link was Dasha. She's doing some damn psyops on me or something. I was what? Anyway, so just ignore whoever hops on it. We won't even. They don't show up.
The funniest thing, the best thing is that I guess the chat can't see it.
No, they can't see it. Nobody sees it.
And he just left. So it literally looks like I'm just hallucinating.
I get it now. It's because I put the link in the chat, but.
How was it? All of a sudden, there's a black man in the chat with us. Okay. I just feel like he's about to.
It's actually kind of.
I feel like he's about to do some crazy.
Well, I was like, well, I'm a black man in the chat. Are you talking about me or like what are you talking about?
Well, I'm the blackest man.
BIPOC frauds in the chat about to get exposed.
I was thinking that. Yeah, I was thinking that I was getting some. I was talking about California, so they sent some sort of
operatives. Your gang
yeah,
stalkers.
they sent their operatives.
Yeah,
they were trying. Yeah, I was about to reveal the real truth behind the LDS and weird military bases all around California and the albino cults living.
Okay, let's get back to California.
Yeah, the limited Abercrombie, and you were talking about how Abercrombie, there was a big kind of child sexualization thing that was happening with Abercrombie in the early 2000s.
Yes.
This was controversial, rightly so. That was a horrible brand that sexualized boys and girls and would have to work there. I remember they have guys that work there. They would be kind of, they would have shirtless dudes, wouldn't they? There'd be like a shirtless guy.
I forgot about that. They would have this kind of weird, sort of gayish thing going on at Abercrombie. I remember that, and maybe even some of the ads were notorious because they were like showing like gay or lesbian images. I think something like that. I forget.
Yeah. So and so there was Abercrombie and Fitch and promoting that kind of, their aesthetic was kind of like hillbilly, dirty, sweaty model boys. That was what they were putting out there.
But also kind of preppy.
Yes, there was that too. Yeah. You know, it was what you see with those what are those stupid shirts that people still dress like that. Anyways, it's beside the point. But their aesthetic was all about sexualization of young guys. And then there was American Apparel, and everyone knows about Victoria's Secret and how Epstein was involved with that and a lot of the fashion shows that they were doing. But while he's working as this procurer, kind of fixer man for, among the elite, pushing certain agendas for, not just himself, but clearly also his our greatest ally. He they had created a culture machine to hypersexualize young people, hypersexualize children, get little girls wearing, uh, like getting their belly buttons pierced and wearing those belly shirts and tube tops and really short skirts. And of course, as when we were young, we were fine with that part. We were all cool with that part of like the girls wearing the short skirts, like remember the butt.
I thought you meant
the
you were
thongs
cool with
sticking up.
wearing that. You mean the girls were okay.
We were cool with the girls wearing that. not we were cool with us. Thanks for clarifying, Jay. Appreciate that. But so it's interesting. So that stuff really mushroomed out into the culture, and it's none of that was new in the 1960s, and the sexual revolution kind of started that fire and released all of that kind of libidinous energy out into the American aesthetic. But this intensified it and really brought it down to the level of even elementary school
Right.
children. And it's a sick thing. You could see how their economic activities and the culture creation activities tie in. And one of the interesting emails, he was talking with a developer from Activision about, he said, this
I was
developer
going to
said,
mention the video game aspect next.
yes, you want to tell about that? Maybe you remember what he said.
So
Something
basically, it
about,
was just an email where he was talking about saying, I can't remember if he was bragging or if he was saying, I really want to push the idea of microtransactions within video games so that people get addicted to kind of spending, online, spending money in a cycle so that they don't save money, right? So a kind of it's something that Max Kaiser always called the casino gulag, where you're constantly spending virtual currencies to get other virtual objects, and you never get out of that maze because it's all abstracted. It's not anything that's actually real. We're talking about here. I'm not going to argue for Bitcoin, but I think Bitcoin's something different than that. But the crypto idea within video games, like the currencies within World of Warcraft, which kind of I think prepared a lot of people for that casino
tokenization of everything,
tokenization of everything,
gamification,
gamification of everything. There's that email where he says, yes, I was involved in, Black Ops video game, experimentation with getting people interested in and addicted to constant virtual spending. And again, just another insidious element that probably nobody would have ever connected Jeffrey Epstein to.
100%. So, I mean, you've got the gamification of everything, the Internet of Things, the tokenization of everything, including nature. So they're working towards this whole new scheme, and they're going to repackage all the carbon. We haven't heard much about the carbon trading and all of this. It got a lot of bad publicity back when people like us were talking about it in 2017, 18, 19. There was a lot of pushback in, I guess that was during Trump's first presidency, and all the Davos stuff that was coming out. And I mean, it's crazy how much has happened over the years. But a lot of that stuff's still relevant.
This year at Bilderberg, you had people even calling out, journalists were going up and calling out Bill Gates and Larry Fink of BlackRock and pointing out, saying, hey, years ago, you guys were calling, attention to climate catastrophe, climate emergency, carbon emergencies, and now you guys don't even talk about it. The journalists were arguing to them that because they've hopped on the AI train and there's so much need for energy for AI that it doesn't make sense to be on board with all this deindustrialization and, removing all of our energy sources. So notice how unimportant now carbon tax and all that stuff is, given the rise of AI.
Yeah. I wonder, one thought that comes up is, well, maybe you're not going to need that when you have this giant machine for producing austerity out of, the destruction of white collar and blue collar jobs through automation of everything. So, even though the large language models, and they've made a lot of progress over the last couple of years, I mean, if you had just messed with LLMs, even in early 2025, what you have now is is significantly better. They've got the AI, the agents that they're going to start marketing more, where you can have it, you can have it book your flights, you can have it do certain tasks that an assistant would do, right? So I think a lot of the carbon trading, carbon taxing stuff, they're just like, well, perhaps this is theoretical. Maybe they don't need that just because of all the hype that they've created and the momentum they've created with AI. They're going to get the same results anyways. You don't have to formalize it into this carbon taxing. You just bring about austerity using the economic means and economic warfare.
Yeah, I mean,
and I think they have. They've destroyed a lot of jobs already, and it seems like it's going to get worse in the next.
No, that's what's crazy is trying to figure out exactly how accurate all these predictions and warnings about AI are. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't really know, but to get back to kind of the culture creation aspect of Jeff Stein McGeffrey, something that not really anybody's even touched on. Alex did a little bit because Alex was plowing through this all week and looking at a lot of the the cultural things that Epstein had his hands in. Again, let's not forget, pop culture, pop musicians, celebrities. One thing that's kind of not been focused on in the last 8 days that did surprise me a little bit was, if you remember back in 2017, 18, 19, all the Epstein talk was about the Black Book and the Lolita Express and all the celebrities that flew. And you had that list that came out of like all the A-listers and the top, pop music people. That has suspiciously been totally not even mentioned. So I'm curious if people just aren't thinking to, look up Katy Perry and, whoever else was supposedly Ben Affleck or whoever else was, in the past on these flights. I know that Jane Fonda and Robert De Niro came up and they were kind of almost mocked as like the goy stand-ins for some of the events. I don't know if you saw that email where they were Epstein and his yeah, I think it's his publicist.
They were making fun of De Niro.
Well, they said we're going to have an event. It's going to be essentially a Jewish event, and then they said something like, and of course, a couple of our goy stand-ins like Jane Fonda and Robert De Niro. Yeah, that's what I said.
Dude, Jane Fonda's alive?
This was an older email.
When did she? Man, it's just crazy. Some of these people are such relics. All these old '60s activists, but. Yeah,
but that's a funny line to say, right? Like the goy.
Oh, it's hilarious. That's amazing. Well, they had their one email about like, it's this one's going to be Jews only. It's like, nah, we'll have there'll be goy.
I think it's that one where they mentioned De Niro and Jane Fonda and somebody else gets mentioned in that, but I don't remember. But it's a bunch of like that older boomer era celebrity people, and then of course we had Leonardo DiCaprio popping up after the second or third day, but. That was according to.
I like how DiCaprio is also Diddy's favorite, boy toy to brag about too. Like, we got Leonardo DiCaprio here. Got this party going. It's one of my favorite guests to invite. I always invite Leo up in here. Get lick these lips.
So gross,
put some chapstick on my Diddy lips.
Oh, so gross.
I like how Diddy always licks his lips all the time. Get Leonardo DiCaprio. Did you watch the Diddy documentary, dude? The 2-part Diddy?
I've not seen that yet. No, I've been so immersed for 9 days in the Epstein stuff that I haven't seen that. But
I mean, it's the same thing as the Epstein stuff.
I know it's like, and I think
Epstein didn't get into too much of it.
Epstein even mentioned.
You get into.
There's even an email where he says something like, Diddy's doing a similar type of thing. I'm not aware of a connection between them, but there's some reference
like
to
rivalry.
Yeah, he's doing this on like a smaller scale or whatever. Like. But I wanted to ask too, did you see the Leo one was weird because it was Epstein asking Peter Mandelson, the disgraced UK politician, to set up deals for Leo in Europe and other countries because Leo's not making enough money from product deals. So again, that
was like 2009 or something.
Seemingly a pretty intimate connection there between some of these Hollywood goblins, but. We had the Brett Ratner guy that was, made the Melania documentary. He pops up in some of those photos, very closely hugging people with Jeff Stein McGeffrey. And, but I think again, the culture creation aspect comes to the fore here because whether it's pop music or whether it's Hollywood, like it's just kind of mind blowing all of the different domains that this dude had his tentacles into. Like he's involved in every aspect of culture. It's not just high finance. It's not just blackmail and sex operations. It's like how can we, influence black ops? How can we, influence and get ahead of the game with cryptocurrencies? How can we get involved
Yeah.
in, setting up movies? There was that one weird email where somebody sent an email to Ghislaine, and they were like, "Hey, Ghislaine, by the way, here's the Hollywood celebrities I want to have sex with." It's like, it's like
Yeah, you
five.
just send her his wish list.
Yeah, exactly. It's just crazy stuff. I think Anne Hathaway was on there. I forget who else is on there, but it's so crazy. Like the level of vindication. By the way, that we were on a podcast with John Adams 10 years ago talking about California as a military industrial complex test lab for culture creation, not just in terms of Hollywood and music and all that, but also cults, as you said, also the military, the huge naval presence is a big role in all that. Bohemian Grove, obviously, in San Francisco, but and Jeff's even saying, "I want to get into Bohemian Grove. I'm gonna fly out here. I'm headed to Bohemian Grove. I want to understand Bohemian Grove." He says in that email, he says, "I'm ready to check it out." Literally everything. He's setting up meetings with the Pope. Wants to get involved. He seems to be close to John Paul II. Arranges meetings and flights for Pope Francis. So this dude is a major connector player. My assessment, I want to see if you agree from what you've looked at, because you've been looking at it all week too. Like he seems to be not the top of the pyramid because he's got people telling him what to do. Like there's a couple of emails saying, "You have permission to assassinate. You can kill her. Did you kill the spy, etc." And then
That was the one. I think people took that one. I don't know. I feel like all right, these are people who talk in code. I feel like they were having it was a conversation in jest, or maybe someone screwed them over. So there was something going on where there was a background with this person. It's just, oh, you have permission to kill him. To me, I read that one as like her being a little facetious. I feel like if he was really going to be,
did you see the
I
one?
feel like he's smarter.
Okay, but did you see the one? I understand you could read it that way. Did you see the one though between him and the professor Novak, whatever his name was? That was the one where he was like, "Yes, they got our spy and they tortured her."
Okay, yeah, but there were a few that were talking about things like this. Did you get the spy we sent? I almost feel like that
That one.
might I don't know. If I was writing that,
They
that's
said
gonna
they
be
got
code
our
for
spy and they tortured her, something like that.
yeah, but I'd like to see the email surrounding that. It just seems like people are gonna be smart and use a little bit of code, but I don't know. It's like even just growing, when you're around people who are even like drug culture, right? Like remember in the mid 2000s, when I was in high school and stuff, we had cell phones, right?
No, I get it.
We would always
I
talk
get
in
it, bro.
code about we knew that everything could be surveilled. So you're like trying to buy weed and you're like talking in code. Hey man, I've got those
Yeah, but in
you
so
got
many of
those
these,
things for me or whatever.
I get it, but
I don't
in so
know.
many emails, they're not speaking in code. They're being really blatant, even with the ages of the girls, some of the pictures that they've sent that are blacked out.
I know it's crazy,
So,
right?
so it seems like
I don't know what to
in
make of
some
some of this.
cases they abide by codes, and in other cases, like they don't even care. They just say like the most insane level stuff without even caring.
Yeah, but I feel like there's a gamification that they're involved in and the language. There's no doubt that these people would have people killed if they needed to. They would take care of things, but it's like, just did you get the spy and tickle her, torture her? Like they were making he was making other things about tickling and torturing, and it was like it almost seems like he's got his whole sexual thing. Torture was tied in with that. So it's like it almost seems to me like some of those emails are just talking about their kinky weird stuff. Like I sent a spy, you gonna torture the spy?
Yeah, it could be.
Ugh, like being like creeper weirdos with like sending chicks and I don't who knows, man. I mean, you see the stuff back in the few months ago where there's that weird glove that Epstein had, and it was like all ribbed with like, it was a textured glove to be used for not,
Well, to
it
make
wasn't enough in
okay,
it.
but to give you an example of overlap there, if you look at the Elm Guest House scandal that happened in the UK with British intelligence, so they basically fitted out a house of ill repute that included men and women and all kinds of stuff. There's a huge component to Elm Guest House that dealt with BDSM, obviously, because a lot of those sickos are into it. But these same high level British MPs and intelligence people that were compromising everybody at the House of Ill Repute, they were also into like torture, and they're spies, and they will off people. In fact, some of the people that were investigating that, particularly I think a BBC journalist ended up killed. So it's not antithetical to speaking in a
Yeah.
BDSM way.
Yeah.
And
No, obviously
actually,
these people are into all this stuff. And
actual
that's
8mm stuff is what I'm saying.
yeah, for sure. I mean, you just almost you'd think they'd be a little bit more smarter with their use of code. But
Well,
at this
but
point,
wealthy elite people at that level, I mean, imagine being 30 and being brought into Trilateral Commission directly by Kissinger and
yeah,
Rockefeller, and you're on the steering committee at age 30, and the most
yeah.
wealthy, powerful people, then become an attaché for the Rothschilds. It's like, I think they genuinely thought, like, we're absolutely untouchable. We will never get in trouble for this. So I think that a lot of times they didn't have that much concern.
Yeah, that could be the case. It's crazy how indiscreet some of the emails seem. And it's, I mean, I run multiple possible scenarios whenever I'm looking at some of these emails. There's different ways you could you could exegete the texts. And I think
Yeah.
the whole Epstein thing, I mean, it really is, it's kind of have you ever read The Crying of Lot 49 by Pynchon?
I bought that, and one of my good friends is a big fan of it, and he was trying to get me to read it. I know it's basically a conspiracy related, it relates to
Yeah.
the mail, and I want to read that, but I actually got more into Inherent Vice. I was going to read Inherent Vice before I read that one.
Yeah, I haven't read other stuff from Pynchon, but I'd always kind of written him off because of a lot of his fan base is annoying online, and I don't, a lot of like really far left conspiracy analysis people they'll present him as if he's one of us, bro. He's like, I'm full on Marxist or something.
Right.
From what I've read, I actually don't I don't think he is. From reading The Crying of Lot 49, I tried to read Gravity's Rainbow a couple times when I was like 20. I was too much of a slow boy back then. The prose was difficult. He writes like Faulkner. He'll do like maybe a little less difficult than Faulkner. But I hadn't read Faulkner at the time. Faulkner will do like, he'll have a sentence and then he'll throw a parenthetical. He'll throw an M dash. That M dash portion of the sentence will go for half a page.
To read, yeah.
And he's got like 5 parentheticals stacked on top of each other, and he'll have a sentence that goes 5 pages, like an Absalom. And Pynchon writes somewhat like that, but Crying a Lot 49 is easier, and I've heard Inherent Vice easy to read. I like it, man, but I think you'd like that book. And one of the ideas in the book is just the exegesis of American culture, and it's like a noir. I would say the way to describe The Crying of Lot 49, it is a noir novel where the audience kind of becomes a stand-in for the main character, Oedipa Maas, and Oedipa is trying to figure out what this conspiracy that's happening in California has to do with her or anything. And the conspiracy ends up becoming to her this all-encompassing thing, and it's a somewhat, it kind of subverts the noir concept because she doesn't get more clarity as the novel goes on. The character ends up getting less clarity, and then ends up almost becoming, she gets very paranoid. So it's about paranoia. It's about kind of the postmodern era of post-World War II, and how like the core of America being so conspiratorial in nature. It's a good novel. I'll have to do a couple shows on it because it's one that it's relatively short, and you get through it quickly. I read kind of slowly, so I'm always having to sometimes back up and like,
Yeah, I'm a slow reader too.
I try to deconstruct every sentence. Like sometimes I'm trying to understand the syntax, like what's he doing here? And I'm trying to map things in a weird way sometimes, so it takes me forever to get through bigger tomes that are, like good lit. But anyways, the Epstein files are kind of like that, where it for so many people, it's a Rorschach test. So the people who have already determined Trump didn't do nothing wrong. The people who are like Fox News libs, they're like, it's a big nothing burger. What are you people crying about? Like, what is this? It ain't no big deal. Like, give me my MAGA hat. Like, let's get back to America great. Like, we go get that Venezuelan oil, baby. Get that Venezuelan oil. That's belong to us now. Like all the while, your country's being overrun with Venezuelan refugees.
And then the oil goes the oil goes directly to Israel.
Yeah, that's making America great, bro. It's our oil. Like people like literally think that they're I love how MAGA has just become openly neocon. They don't even care. They're just like, we're winning, bro. The freaking libtards are gonna melt down when they realize that the anti-Semite libs are gonna melt down when they realize we gave that Venezuelan oil to Israel. But the the Epstein files kind of it's a weird thing. It's such a huge dump on everybody, and to get through it, it takes so much time. Eh, I don't know if that's strategic on part of the DOJ. It seems like they were forced into releasing them, which I don't know. You'd kind of think that they would be able to just keep it under wraps. Just be like, nah, it's really, you think they could disappear it. Um, I'm just sorry, I'm getting into my own like thoughts and speculations here, but I think there's so much of it and there's so many people looking at it that there's so many different conclusions to be drawn, and some of it is very hard to interpret, and some of it's just straightforward. Like these people are engaging. This is not an elected person, so the sacred tomos of democracy says that power is in the hands of elected leaders and in the hands of the people. Well, who voted for Jeffrey Epstein? Who voted for? I mean, I guess everybody did, because people like him are running both sides of the fake political spectrum. So it's a strange thing that's happened in the last couple of weeks, and it's kind of overwhelming just seeing all the stuff that's coming out, and then seeing complete polar opposite reaction. Some people are just like, you got that guy freaking out in the airport. What is going? You see that video? He's, well, you guys all just
I did,
going
yeah.
on
I
with your
think
lives.
Harrison or Alex played that, yeah.
And then you've got people who are like, this is nothing. What are you guys even talking about? I haven't seen any admissions of any crimes here. This is boring.
Yeah, right. That reaction just blows my mind. It's like, this is the biggest story of our news time, this biggest news story of our lifetime, I think. And then people are like,
Yeah.
yeah, what is it? What the hell is even that? As the meme says.
Also,
But
like, what is this? Why? Who cares?
yeah,
Like, who cares?
who
Like, are
cares?
you freaking kidding me? But I understand it too, because there's fatigue from it too. I mean, even with people like us who've been knee deep in this stuff since. I mean, since you were born in 1920, me being slightly young. No,
Yeah,
but
I
we,
was
we've
I
been in
was
this stuff.
actually reading Tragedy and Hope when I was in diapers, literally.
Yeah, you helped to write it. You helped to write Tragedy and Hope.
Quigley asked, true story is Quigley asked for my consultation, and I basically just gave him access to some of my archives. So that's what actually happened.
Yeah. The original dedication was actually to Jay Dyer. It was dedicated to Jay Dyer, whose 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 human leather bound archived books were the basis of most of the material in Tragedy.
Well, I wanted to go back to the topic of culture creation, because there's another area that I know that you were also aware of many years ago too, that you've critiqued, and that's Jeff Stein's interest in the domain of like counterculture online, like Reddit, because Ghislaine, it turns out, appears to have been a pretty high profile Reddit mod with
Mm.
thousands of posts. She's able to like delete and control a lot of different forums. And then Epstein meeting directly with one of the original sort of coder creators of 4chan. So he seems to have had an angle in the degeneracy that comes out of 4chan, the atheism that comes out of Reddit, and that's not surprising, because he's surrounded by these formative four horsemen of the atheist apocalypse, right, of the 2000s. He's hanging out with Dennett, Dawkins, Lawrence Krauss, Pinker, all these atheist materialists. So I think this also vindicates the thesis, as I was arguing all week, that the new atheism was also a top-down sort of psyop, and that the online counterculture out of like 4chan also has an element of toxic culture via Epstein.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find. There's an interesting post that was analyzing that, and it had the email there. But it does seem like Epstein. So somebody in the chat, I'm sure, could correct this, but some of the lore about 4chan is it wasn't always poll, but that there were several things that happened in the development of 4chan where they're essentially trying to quarantine a lot of certain discussions, and that Epstein's action and push of that specific dev was to get him to create kind of a little echo chamber out of those discussions and push all of that type of talking to there, and then flood it with like, uh, um, is Mossad type handlers who are just shit posting all sorts of nonsense, and then flooding it with pornography and other things that are gonna, get people to get certain elements of it to go away. So this is really interesting how they kind of moderated that under the direction of Epstein for the purpose of culture creation.
Yeah, I mean, it's so many different angles, and again, the weird part is that okay, there's this push for atheism, but at the same time, Epstein seems to be directly interested in all kinds of really weird New Age stuff. He
Mm.
speculates about dimensions, Kabbalistic ideas in the Bannon interview. Reality is a big, matrix simulation type of code. This kind of idea seems to be there. So, at the one on the one hand, there's the push for new atheism, but also he's really interested in these mystical topics, as he brings up many times in the Bannon interview. So, um, those things are not antithetical. I mean, both the New Age movement and the New Atheist movement absolutely serve the overall technocratic agenda.
Hmm. What a surprise. What a surprise. But it's funny how there is no real atheism. It always becomes uh becomes this monism of materialism, or it becomes, all spooky action at a distance. Even materialism ends up in spooky action at a distance, quantum mechanics,
That's exactly
quantum
what Epstein
weirdness.
is into. Yeah, that's the way he speaks in that
Yeah.
Bannon interview.
Did you do you have the link? What's the link for there's a searchable database where you can search any term through the Epstein files?
I think if you just pull up any of the DOJ links that people put up on X, I think you can search it from that
Can you search
page.
within the documents? It'd be interesting to search. I'm because the Santa Fe Institute is real strange. Like the Santa Fe Institute
Yeah,
and
tell me about that
Epstein.
because he brings that up in the Bannon interview early on. Do you know about that?
Yeah, he wasn't the primary investor as far as I know, but the reason I know about the Santa Fe Institute at all is because of Cormac McCarthy's involvement there. He would write certain things. I think he would help to edit certain papers that a lot of these guys were putting out. And later in his life, McCarthy became really interested in physics and this whole world of physics. And I think he had a he had a proclivity towards this since he was a kid because his dad, Cormac's father, became a big shot lawyer in Tennessee. And the Tennessee Valley project of damming up the river and creating this giant hydroelectric plant that ended up siphoning power from this river into being used for the Manhattan Project. McCarthy's dad was the lawyer that was dealing with the Tennessee Valley Authority in this during the Second World War. So he had like a falling out with his dad, and you could see it in a lot of his stuff. There, it's kind of under the surface, but then also there's certain things in like Sutri, and then even in his later work, he starts. I haven't read The Passenger yet; it's his last novel. But in The Passenger, he's concerned with the metaphysics of physics and also paranoia, conspiracy, Manhattan Project, and schizophrenia. So one of the characters in The Passenger is a paranoid schizophrenic, but kind of a relatively high intelligence physicist, and she is I think it's I haven't read it yet. I've got to get to The Passenger. I'll probably won't read it till next year or so. But McCarthy was the only writer. He was the only writer involved in the Santa Fe Institute. So I was curious if anybody had searched McCarthy's name in the Epstein files and seen if he had any direct contact with
Well,
Jeffrey Epstein.
the one area that I've not seen Jeff Stein have a whole lot of interest or influence in is literature. So maybe some.
Except the novel Lolita. He loved
I was
Lolita.
gonna say, yeah, aside from something like that, but I mean,
He loved Lolita, but he had this weird exegesis of it. Have you ever read Nabokov's
I've
Lolita?
not read it. No, I mean, I'm familiar with like the Kubrick adaptation, but I've not read him.
I'd
What?
say that Nabokov's book is much less. I'd say it's more condemning of the character Humbert than Kubrick's film. Kubrick's film is a little bit. Kubrick's film is strange. It's almost more sus than Nabokov's novel. Um, Lolita is a strange novel. I mean, it's, as far as 20th century literature, it's an important work. But you know, it's an unreliable narrator, and the narrator himself is a seductor of the audience. So the audience is getting seduced into this language of the narrator, and he writes this very beautiful poetic prose. And he's, you know, the narrator himself, though, we know from the very beginning that this guy is trouble, right? Like, there's a whole preface that's from another character, and there's, you know, there's narratives within the narrative, but it's about, you know, the abuse of a young girl and the killing of the mother. You know, so Humbert kills the mother of Dolores and then takes this girl under his wing and ends up trying to make her his love object. But he ends up, it's a novel part of it is about dehumanization. It's about the destruction of the soul and the innocence of this small girl by this monster, Humbert. But Epstein's reading this as like, this is based. He's like, this is freaking awesome. And what's weird is in one of the in one of the emails, he's recommending Lolita as well as the material of some pornographic actress to this girl that he's talking to. And he's telling this girl, I think these are in the same emails where he's telling this girl, oh yeah. She's like, I watched that video and I did the thing that the girl did in the video to this guy and he loved it. And it's like talking about, you know, how to get further in with a guy. And he's telling her how to like game getting close to this man. And she's getting tips from him on how to make him trust her, how to make him addicted to her, and how to do certain things physically to make him crave her. And then also he starts talking about Lolita and he's like, you have to get the annotated version. And he ends up recommending her this annotated version, which I think it was the annotated version that I had read when I was in college. And it's, you know, all the annotations are very, there's not many people that were reading.
We lost him for a second. He'll be right back. So you were talking about the annotated versions. You just cut out for a second.
This specific annotated version, from what I remember of it, is consistently showing you how the novel really is about this monster, and it's a, you know, it's a story about dehumanization and whatnot. But I guess Epstein just thought that's all. He didn't care. I'm going to read it in the way I like. And Humbert's the hero, and I want to find myself little Lolitas. And he called his plane Lolita Express. So a lot of the core symbolism of Epstein is just him having a depraved exegesis of a book that, I mean, Nabokov himself said that, you know, Humbert is the villain. Humbert is a villain. It's a book about a villain. And he didn't, you know, most great literature has got multiple levels of analysis that you can do on it. It's not just this, it's not just a book about this, but it's interesting to see his interpretation of it. And who knows, maybe an entire subculture of people that are like that also interpret Lolita in that way.
I know you did an interview recently with a BLA. I think you guys covered some lit. What was your BLA chat? What book was that? And then I want to get back to some of the Jeff Stein stuff and some other lit stuff too. But go ahead.
No, we did a few McCarthy books. We did some early McCarthy stuff, is like Southern Gothic phase, which are good novels. A little bit, I'd say, you know, if you're squeamish, maybe not so good, but I like them. They're great novels. We did both. We did both Outer Dark and Child of God, and they're good, man. I mean,
well, I know that when they made the film version of that one, it was, everybody talked about it being super gross. Could you tell me? I'm not doubting you on saying that the novel's good, but can you explain? Is it, you know, is the movie something to be avoided, or is it actually accurate? Or
I haven't watched the film because I've seen The Road. The Road, I thought The Road was horrible. I thought that movie sucked. It was okay, but if you've read the novel, I mean, the Road, it's a quick read, and it's such a beautiful book. I think the Road is one of the most beautiful books of like the early 2000s. Might be the best novel of the early 2000s. That one, and maybe like maybe Dennis Johnson is up there too. But I think The Road is one of the top novels of like between 2000 and 2010. And I hated the film. I thought it was awful. And you're trying to adapt something that's it's the core of it. A lot of it is in the language with McCarthy. It's like, it's the structure of the sentence. It's how it it's how it sounds when you read it out loud. It's the language. He uses all these Anglo-Saxon words, and he it's just he's just surgical precision with his writing. So, um, Child of God, I don't know why Franco tried it. I guess you got to respect the try, but I didn't watch it because Child of God, it's not a movie that you'd want to adapt. It's about a serial killer, right? It's kind of like about this Appalachian, this reject from culture, and it's like a guy that took that transition between two ages. He took it in a direction of, I'm going to completely reject everything around me. It's about a story of a person who, the trauma that they experienced as a child, they took it in a direction of, just depravity. And it's about the fall. It's about demonosis, basically. It's about a guy just embracing like all of his passions, and he becomes, this wouldn't even fly these days, because the depraved serial killer, Lester Ballard, which is such a great name for a serial killer, Lester Ballard.
It's perfect. Yeah.
Lester Ballard ends up running around in a dress with makeup on, and like, carrying the dead body of one of his victims because he burned down his little hovel that he had kind of squatted in Appalachistan, and hiding in a cave. It's like a reverse Plato's cave, where he ends up he goes into the cave instead of coming out of the cave. He goes into it and brings the bodies with him. So it's like this inverse Platonism kind of a thing. But on the surface, it's like, it maybe would seem kind of crazy and depraved as a film, because it's just like, this gross guy.
I've only read Blood Meridian. I had to do a grad paper on Blood Meridian, which I thought was interesting. I enjoyed the novel. So I've not looked at these other ones, but I think it would be fun if you and I want to do a lit stream down the road. We should do
man.
We should do Flannery O'Connor's 2 novellas, because they're really funny and they have some of the same themes that you're describing. Like in Violent Bear It Away, you've got this crazy Pentecostal lunatic who kind of sounds like the guy you're talking about. He's a great character. So it'd be fun to do, and those are really quick, easy reads.
I've got copies of both of them. We gotta do like one at a time. I hear they're both similar.
They are similar. Yeah.
Someone told me they like the Violent Bear It Away more than Wise Blood.
They're both really insightful. Like Wise Blood, it really prophetically it predicts the new atheists, and
oh wow.
Yeah, the guy acts basically just like the new atheists, and she was writing that back in like the 40s or 50s. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, and Violent Bear It Away is a very accurate description of the tendencies that you see amongst these really just extreme sort of charismatic lunatics. So those
McCarthy was really influenced by Flannery O'Connor. You could tell he
I would have to. He would have to be. Yeah.
He loved Flannery O'Connor, and I think that she was influential on him, and Faulkner. I think he loved.
Right.
He OD'd on Flannery O'Connor and Faulkner, and ended up taking him and putting him in his own style, and becoming something else with it. Though he took it in a way with the Border trilogy. I think I might do. I'm going to do some more lit streams too, because they're fun.
They're fun. It's just nobody watches them because nobody reads books. It drives me crazy.
I know, right? Yeah, but I mean, I think your audience, no matter what you want to talk about, people are going to come. They're interested in your insights and stuff. People watch your videos, movie streams, when they haven't watched the movie that you're talking about too.
Yeah, true.
And you have a good way of tying it all into the themes that you see prevalent today. I don't think you'd lose too much audience over it. Your audience is big enough where you could shave off the. You could cut
some of the fat, separate the wheat from the chaff. I'd like to do more Narnia too, because I was talking to BLA when we went to dinner in Virginia after the Ludwell conference, and we were talking about text, and I didn't realize that people think of Narnia as like kind of simplistic child literature, but for example, going back, and I've been rereading Horse and His Boy, which is later on in the series, but I didn't even realize that's a complete critique of Islam. It's a total critique of Islam. This whole time,
I've never read the Narnia series. I've only read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and maybe one other. Remember, I bought the set because I liked The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
It's actually a lot deeper than I thought. Yeah.
My kids love Narnia. My kids have read the Narnia books maybe 5, 6 times too.
Oh
They
wow.
they destroyed all the paperbacks, so we just got them a new hardcover set. But all the hardcover stuff you buy now, it's funny. They all have these ugly like AI generated
Oh
images. So
yeah, yeah.
you look at the cover now, it just looks like slop. You're like, dude, this is awful cover for these books, but they don't care. They know what's in the books anyways. But yeah, they love those. And I mean, Lord of the Rings, there's depth to
Oh yeah,
Tolkien
totally.
as well. And I like how what they did something so different is they didn't really get into the whole modernist movement. And I don't mean modernist or postmodernist in like the philosophical way. I mean just the literary forms. They kind of stuck with that Victorian form and they're just like, we don't care. We're going full on allegory. We're doing it. We're going allegory and we're gonna moralize everything. We're gonna just make it didactic, but it's got a great feel to it. And they're yeah, as far as children and exposing them to good literature. I think those are fantastic foundational texts for them to read. Um, and you don't have to worry about them being, programmed into some strange modernist ideas and whatnot.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, I mean, and going back to the Jeff Stein McGuffrey stuff, I don't think it was surprising to many people. Although I guess the blatant aspects of it were somewhat perhaps surprising. Was his discussions and interest in early transitioning of young people in terms of the trans movement, and then that kind of seemingly tying in directly to his transhumanist views. So it's not accidental that he's going to be pushing for 3-year-olds at that young of an age to transition, talking to different doctors and creeps about it. And then some of the more unspeakable emails that I won't mention that Alex has highlighted all week about the babies, and what the email specifically to the biologist asking for. I'm not even going to say it. It's just the worst thing I've ever heard of. But
Yeah, I must have missed that one. That
you,
I must.
you don't. I'll tell you privately. It's not
It's
even.
real. It's not just one of the because some of the emails
I
that I
mean,
saw
the email with the
were people.
biologist is real, as far as I can
Yeah.
tell. I mean,
Well, I'm not saying so that there were fake emails. What I've seen is people are taking emails that the FBI had archived because they were from, they're from like 4chan. Some of them are from actual mentally ill people, and they're like, you know, Bill Clinton ate my left
not
testicle.
the. This is not FBI tips. This is emails to like a
Yeah,
biologist.
like legit from Epstein. Yeah, that's crazy.
I can pull it up, but how can I
So,
just
it
how can
sucks
I
because all
describe
this
it?
stuff is so grim, and then you say something like, "I'm not even going to talk about that," and then because I've been exposed to so much of this crap, and like I'm like, I have to know now. I don't even care. I want to know, but it's. I mean, you're obviously
So
if you're
basically,
disturbed.
how could I say this? It's an email. I'm scrolling down to see if I can find it to a a guy that works in biology, obviously some goblin professor, and he's asking about certain techniques that you can do to make the infant do certain things.
Oh, it's like Kathy O'Brien stuff
It
where they used to
is, yeah,
talk about.
yeah,
Yeah, she details that, and I'm not saying that everything she said
right.
was legit, but and if anybody wants to read one of those foundational conspiracy uh, era conspiracy, I don't want to say theory, but like conspiracy realm texts. Kathy O'Brien's The Transformation of America, and she does the black world, the black conspiracy transformation. You know what transformation is? It's transformation because you form in a trance on the television. You're telling the lies of your vision, scion. It's they do that the
Okay,
transformation of America,
so
and they talk about this stuff of like
yeah,
programming kids at a young age. It's horrible.
yeah, well, that's in John C. Lilly's book too. I mean, he doesn't mention the sexuality, but he does mention at the end of programming and metaprogramming the giving young kids LSD. But
It says he was able to blank slate them. He turned them to blank slates with acid.
this is the Mark Tramo email, Tramo. So people want to go look this up. You can look it up. It does appear to be a real Epstein email, and it's Jeffrey. It's just his reply to Epstein. He says, "Thank you for sending so and so my way. I trust the words are acceptable. Let me know I'm on my road, on the cell, on the road, blah, blah, blah." I was reading today that uh, newborns will do certain things if you play the mother's voice. So
Yeah, that was one of the most disturbing things in the Kathy O'Brien book. That kind of, you know, I don't know. When did you get your hands on the Arizona Wilder, Kathy O'Brien, that type
So I
stuff?
remember reading some of Kathy's chapters back in the 2000s, and it was the same time that I started reading, Fritz's Bloodlines Illuminati,
Yeah, yeah,
and
same,
I
same. Yeah,
I read a good portion of the Cisco Wheeler Illuminati Mind Control book. Believe it or not, that's where I actually saw the source of the John C. Lilly book. And, I thought half of what Fritz was saying was crazy, but I was like, well, there's a lot of references here. So I actually noticed where he said that they would give LSD to young kids, and he cited that obscure John C. Lilly book. So I got it, and sure enough, at the end of the book, he says, yes, you can actually program different alters within a child using LSD.
mm,
So Fritz is a mixed bag. He's got some of these gem
yeah, he's
references
wild.
hidden in there, but I do remember thinking, and again, I'm not saying that Kathy O'Brien didn't experience bad stuff. It's just that some of the things that she says kind of just seem over the top and don't make sense.
Yeah, it
But I
seems
still
almost
think that there's still
cartoonish.
abuse going on for sure.
Yeah, totally. But when she's saying how, I mean, it's written like a spy novel kind of almost. You know, it's just
Yeah, I
these
think that's the
chapters. She's
part
like,
that's a little unbelievable. The two things that come to mind is that I was flown to Costa Rica, these different places, so I could sleep with Kissinger, and then they sent me over next door to David Rockefeller, and then they flew me out to the next.
right, 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 and
It's
then
like,
they had a box, and then there's a little key, and then when they would put the key in the box, but it all makes sense. The techniques all make sense, where she's talking about how they're using visual cues, and they're wiring her in and subconsciously to have a certain physiological and mind state reaction
okay,
to
it's just,
keywords and stuff.
but the other thing too is
It's
like
crazy.
there's some claims that just don't seem to ring true or make any sense. Like she says,
Yeah,
I remember, they took me to Nashville, and they took me down beneath Union Station, and they did a giant satanic ritual down. And I mean, I've been to Union Station, and I doubt that they were doing a big, ritual down there. It just seems a little over the top. And
yeah,
then she's basically saying all the country music stars are all connected in doing the satanic rituals, and it just
yeah.
seems
Bob Hope.
a little over the top. Yeah, a little over the top. But I don't doubt that. The other thing too is she's like, I knew my dad was mind controlling and programming me when he would sing country songs on the radio, and it's like
Yeah,
he would sing Boxcar Willie songs, and that was a trigger code because he had raped me. And I mean, I'm not saying that didn't happen. It's just like all of this wild. In other words, for a lot of the victims, and I'm not saying it's not true because they're traumatized, so they get kind of scrambled up. Everything becomes part of that experience and that trauma. Does that make sense? So everything is then connected.
absolutely.
So it's like,
Well, if you believe the premise, the methodologies that they describe, that seems real. Her story of what happens within the context
yeah,
of the things that were done to her seems outlandish, and, it's like she's like, "And then George W. Bush," not George W. Then Poppy Bush, like, made this huge heroin deal right in front of me, and
yeah.
he had me fly the heroin, and then he put on a gray alien costume and gave me ecstasy and LSD. It's like, well, okay, like these Poppy Bush has got a lot of time on his hands, to be, handling your programming. You'd think he would just use you for whatever he's using you for. Some of it doesn't make that much sense.
It was the
But
same. It was the same with.
to her credit, yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, to her credit, if somebody was abused in that way, their mind is gonna be so shattered.
Yeah,
If even
exactly.
10%
Right.
of what she says was done to her,
Yeah.
your mind is so shattered that fantasy and reality are completely blended in that state. And she even says this. But the weirdest thing is Mark Phillips' background, right? Like Mark Phillips being this like NASA engineer character who called himself a deprogrammer. And that was a big thing back in the 80s, the deprogrammers for saving people
Right.
from cults and stuff. But they're using the same techniques. They use the same techniques to deprogram you, of operant conditioning, Pavlovian techniques combined with drugs, cybernetics, and stuff like that. They're just using it to deprogram. So then you have all these weird deprogrammer people running around, and I mean, just imagine the paranoia and the strangeness of being surrounded by these people who are all telling you that they were, oh yeah, I used to be involved in the mind control program, but I went rogue. Now I'm no longer working with the agency, and I'm here to deprogram you. Here, smoke this. You know, it's like Mark Phillips giving her pot. You remember she was talking about? She's like, the only drug they wouldn't let you use was marijuana.
No,
Because, you know,
this is exactly what Fritz Springmeier says, and this little sort of sub genre of 80s and 90s conspiracy world of the cult deprogrammer. This is such a kind of fun, in a dark way, niche conspiracy topic that there's actually a pretty good indie movie about cult deprogramming. Have you seen that movie? It's really funny, and they have to base the character on Fritz Springmeier. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that? It's like an A24 kind of art house style indie movie.
No, what year was
Oh,
it
it's
made?
great. It's not that old. It's maybe a few years ago. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
What was there was some movie with Jesse Eisenberg about stuff like MK Ultra, American Ultra. I never watched that.
Yeah, that one's a little more of a action goofy thing. I did include it, I think, in the second book, but this is more of a twisted sort of mind warp satire. It's funny, and it's actually a good movie. It's a little dark, but does anybody remember the name of this one? It's got I don't think it has anybody super famous in it, but if I see it in the chat, it's maybe 2018, 2019. It's actually a really good movie, though. I probably Tristan would actually really like this one, I could tell. But yeah, the cult deprogramming stuff is funny, and all the ones that sort of claim that experience. It's there's always the same pattern of like, it starts out as like believable, and then this sort of the details get really expanded. For example, like that recent Annika Lucas, when she was on with PBD, she's sort of the new version of the Kathy O'Brien. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying bad things didn't happen to her, but she gets really
No, it's
defensive.
like David Rockefeller like bought me and sold me and
But
stuff.
she
I listened
didn't
to maybe
know. She
45
never knew
minutes
who
of it.
David Rockefeller was, and even when he died, when she had the flood of memories of the regressed memories, she suddenly remembered everything. It's like, how would you not know like the most famous, wealthy New York elite man? Like, it just seems very implausible. But
I mean, there's just, and he was very indiscreet because there's been several of his mind-controlled slaves that have now become whistleblowers. So it's like he needs to tighten up. David Rockefeller was loose-lipped or something, or he couldn't pick his MK Ultra beta program sex kittens very, very well. I don't know. You need to train his MK discernment. It's funny because it's become a cottage industry, right? I mean, conspiracy culture has become something. I mean, it's always been weird, but I don't know if it's more or less weird now than it was in the early 2000s and mid 2000s, when when you're always wondering, well, who's paying to publish this book? You're reading these books and you're like, dang, this is heavy, this is crazy. Who is this weirdo writing this? Like, how did this, then you start getting paranoid about the person that's selling you the paranoia.
Exactly. And the same thing with, I remember thinking this too, like when I first read Michelle Remembers, I was like, you're reading it and this is pretty believable, it makes a lot of sense. And then you get to the end of the book and it's like, she's got this translation of her conversation with the devil. And it's like, okay, this was all believable until it just got really ridiculous. And then you look into
the last 90 pages. It's a third of the book.
You look into that, and it's like, okay, she's obviously off, and then she runs off. She leaves her husband, like runs off with the therapist. That seems to be a recurring thing here. Now, the movie that I was talking about is 2015, and it's the movie called Faults, Faults, 2015. I forget the actor's name. You've seen him in a lot of kind of indie projects. And then that girl went on to be in several other pretty well-known films, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. But this is a really good satire of like the Fritz Springmeier sort of deprogramming genre. I'm sure
it's lighthearted. It's not like heavy, somber, dark, or what's the tone? What would you say the tone is?
It's a dark satire. So it's a little dark, but it's also so goofy that you can't really like the character, the Fritz Springmeier character is really goofy. and
Yeah.
he's kind of sincere, but he's also kind of a con
Is
man.
he a
So
con man?
a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's
That's cool
funny.
because
It's just funny.
it always in those type of circles there's this aspect of the huckster, the con man, and remember John Todd, the Illuminati tapes. John
Classic.
Todd. Yeah, I mean, he turned out to be a complete con man, just a weirdo. And he was, and what's funny too is a lot of these guys who are selling this stuff to these evangelical crowds about, oh, the Satanists are
Oh,
programming the
Mike
babies.
Warnke. Mike Warnke. He's another one.
Did he end up, was he like John? Because John Todd ended up, people, there were all these girls who were like, yeah, I was hanging around John Todd. I was 16 years old. And he was, telling me about all this stuff. And then he tried to invite me to his coven. And he told me that he's in a witch coven and we're going to join the witch coven and we're going to be a part of this new coven. And it's like, wait a minute. I thought he was the evangelical anti-witchcraft guy. And they're putting magic spells. And David Crosby is the top Satanist in America. And they're doing the rituals over every master tape. And they're master debating on the master the tapes. And and it's like, and then, oh yeah, he's starting witch covens with 16-year-old, like,
Yeah, even after
oh.
his supposed evangelical conversion and Illuminati, exposés, I was actually reading John Todd's whole, wiki the other day. I didn't realize he was doing all that stuff even then. So that's a recurring pattern. And I even think there was like anti-Satanist Illuminati drama between John Todd and Mike Warnke, because Mike Warnke came right after John Todd as like the first sort of like public, I'm an ex, Satanist and I'm here to expose them. And he goes, doing this evangelical tour, and he's doing all this preaching. And last I heard, like he ended up in a Nestorian church. He was like a deacon in a Nestorian church, which is really weird. But he actually came to my hometown back when I can't remember if I was an evangelical or I was beginning to get into traditional Catholicism, and he came and gave a talk. Mike Warnke did.
He was gang stalking you, bro. He was trying to get you
No.
in his witch coven.
No, he just was milking that like late 90s evangelical, still kind of funneling into the, satanic panic type stuff.
Selling
But
huckster stuff.
yeah, a lot of these guys are just such ridiculous sort of hucksters on like their sixth wife and like just nonsense, constant drama nonsense. It's just crazy.
There's something about, it's difficult, being in that world and being involved in looking at evil that much. It's kind of that old trope of the
That's what we
darkness looks
talked about.
back.
Yeah, today was like that can become its own kind of idol.
100%. And so many people get so obsessed with looking at that darkness. And yes, I mean, it's probably why shrinks are so weird, right? Like, you're just meddling with people. They're getting people into the darkest stuff, and they're only talking with people about their problems. And the whole basis of it is all based on this, false myth of what the human is, what the mind is. I think in a lot of psychiatrists, of course, psychiatry being a vector point for
Absolutely.
Research into behaviorism, and of course the espionage implications of that is huge. And since the 1950s, it being the experimental playground of a bunch of sick people whose really their MO is to systematically dehumanize people. And I think that's what most psychiatry actually does. It reduces you to a brain and a body. And if we could just we just do this, we'll meddle with the serotonin here. Well, yeah, exactly. So the molecular vision of life, I did like 2-3 hour streams on that one.
I know.
And
I remember that.
was fun.
That's why I got that book. And you're absolutely right. Like the whole basis of, if you go back to Freud, and even, I mean, obviously Freud and Carl Jung disagreed on fundamental, metaphysical differences, but at the end of the day, like they're both essentially satanic Luciferian in their worldview. Like, yeah, Carl Jung critiques the materialism and the base passions view that Freud has, but like his answer is, bro, we need to like just be Gnostic and go into our subconscious and look at our dream states and all that. It's not that much better, really.
Yeah. No, he's Jung. Let's give Jung a little bit of credit. He's not as much of a sick freak weirdo as Freud.
No.
but he's also kind of a sick freak weirdo in a lot of ways too. I mean, in Reich, you had Reich is not talked about much. I think Wilhelm Reich is overlooked, and he's somebody that in the mid 2000s, I'm sure you read his. I still have a copy of his little book, Listen, Little Man, with the cartoons in it. You ever read that one?
Don't have that. No, I'm just familiar with sort of the Frankfurt School connection. I don't know much about him other than that he was
Reich was
he
strange,
was
man.
formative in the sexual revolution.
Yeah, he was weird. But then there are certain parts of his work where you're reading it, you're like, okay, these guys got an even better grasp of certain aspects of the human psyche and I think the reason the way I got into Reich was hearing about Listen, Little Man, because it was an anti-authoritarian type book. So when you're around libertarian type people in the mid 2000s conspiracy culture, Reich would come up as one of those suppressed guys. They're like, oh, they suppressed Tesla, right?
They're trying to keep you out of. They don't want you to know this, bro.
Yeah, they don't want you to read Reich. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna read Reich, right? You get his book, and Listen, Little Man's interesting. It's a lot of cartoons, and you could look up Reich's cartoons there. And there's something weird there. He took it very sexual and ended up creating, like, his whole thing was about like orgone, and you release the orgone
Yeah, I know about
energy
that part
through the
because
sexual
when
act.
I started doing podcasts back in 2011, somebody mailed me some orgone. I was like, it's just
Yeah.
like it's a piece of plastic with trash in it. I'm like, what? You
Yeah,
mailed me
no,
some
you get the
trash?
layers, the plastic and the yeah. So I was like I was into that whole world of like 2007, 2008, and then so it was really funny. But Reich was a weird guy. I'm not an expert on Reich or anything. I've just read a couple of his books, and his bio is strange though. He was one of those kind of iconoclast 20th century weirdos who he did experiments on weather modification, and it seemed like they were highly successful. And there seems like there was something there to some of the things that he was doing. And then there was also this aspect of him just, being a total boomer coomer, trying to get his, build a harem of young girls, which just happens to be that all these guys there's something about
Yeah.
America, especially. It's like an American tradition, great
It's an American
American
tradition.
tradition.
Somebody was even making that joke,
Created
like
a cult.
creating your own sex cult in American tradition. Like, did you see the comments of Deepak Chopra to Jeff Stein McEffrey?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And Chopra ties in with all that Esalen Institute, the new
Oh, he's
atheists.
formative. He's formative at Esalen,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, he's big, man. I remember I worked at a hotel, and the Chopra Center was near the hotel that I worked at in high school in Carlsbad. And the Chopra people were always really snooty, obnoxious, like rich ladies who were, early 2000s yoga pants weren't everywhere, but they were already, these were the yoga pants MILF ladies who were always very, oddly breathy, and they talk. I'm gonna go to the Chopra
Yeah,
Center.
exactly.
None of them tipped. None of them tipped at all. They were all completely cruel to anybody helping them. They don't look anybody in the eyes. They were
Yeah.
worse than, like, dude, the Hells Angels guys come through and they're tipping you $100 for parking their car. They're like, "Hey man, you gives me some weed or something here." It's like, but no, these chicks, the Chopra Center chicks come through, and they're just like, "Oh, how are you? Okay." Bring their bags to the room and do anything.
Yeah, let's read a couple of super chats here because we got a few sort of piled up. But welcome to the new members. Guys have been streaming for about 7 or 8 hours, so my voice is starting to go out. But we're gonna get through these, and I'm having a lot of fun talking to Tristan. This is great. But welcome to the new members. Bobby C, turn up Tristan. That was a long time ago. Yeah, turn the mic up. BM says for $5 bowel movement. Trent Horn demolished you, but now I'm going to convert to Rome and become a techno furry clown Epstein mass proponent. That will show you hashtag Tradcat. I just got owned. We just got owned. Gravios, $20. A lot of synchronicity connects to California. For example, what got us involved in World War II? I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about Pearl Harbor. Gravios, $10. The idea that Satan destroys things that are beautiful. And then I would think that makes sense that his minions would take over with the most beautiful states to violate it. That's an interesting point. Yeah, maybe California becomes satanic because it's beautiful and they need to, like.
I just realized I'm totally look at me frame mogging Jay on the YouTube screen here. You're getting so frame mogged, dude. I could just like poke you. You just like sit here and
Well, I just did that to
me looking
not
down
get
on
my
you.
cortisol spiked and to let you kind of have a little bit of aura maxing tonight so that you get your aura fix for the week. That
Bro,
way,
I'm siphoning your cortisol. I've tapped into your pineal gland with my hyper reptilian Fritz Springmeier bloodlines of the Illuminati. I'm tapped into your pineal, and I'm just snorting it, just inhaling your cortisol right now while you're like a little tiny moglet getting completely mogged.
well, speaking of
Just
like,
totally frame
speaking
mogged,
of
bro.
gurus just wanting to touch butts, like one of the first jokes that you and I made back when we did that stream watching Wild Wild Country, and we were joking about Osho, right? And the booger whistle, and like gurus just want to get
It's
laid,
still a
dude.
joke. Like 10 years later, there's a song now. The lore is deep. The lore is
It
so
is deep, and you know,
it's
we
deep
figured
lore.
out a long time ago, gurus are just about getting laid, dude. That's it. Bobby C
That's what's up.
says, Bobby C says you guys are boomer maxing. There we go. BC says $5. Thank you so much. Cold Quest, $5. Small world. Tristan introduced my wife's godparent to orthodoxy. Well, at least it's not your wife's boyfriend that he introduced to orthodoxy.
Wow. Who's your wife? What's her social security number and her banking information?
And send 1 Bitcoin as well to me and Tristan.
yeah, take those two. Take those.
Douglas
That's
says,
amazing. Glory to God. What was the connection at home? What was it? I introduced
says,
his wife to orthodoxy.
Tristan
Like I know her
introduced
personally.
my wife's godparent to orthodoxy.
Okay, that's cool. I wonder if I know them or if it was just internet introduced.
Douglas says, here's a super chat. Thank you. Radioactive. Thank you for that. Damani, $5. What's up, dog? Dank Bud, $10. What's up, dude? Gravios. Dank Bud, what's up, dude?
90s, early
What's up,
2000s. Everything was dank in like 2003. Oh, did you get? Oh, dude, we're gonna go get a burrito. It's gonna be so dank, dude. We're gonna get a burrito from Lola's. We can get beans, rice, and
Oh,
cheese.
man.
Oh, it's dank,
That
dude.
reminds
It's
me.
the dank. It's the dankies.
Did
Oh, the danky dankles, bro. Like it's all sticky and danky dank. Dude, hey, this kid I grew up with, his name was Poopies. his name was Poopies, and he actually I talked about this with Weck. He's on the newest Jackass movie, and Steve-O and all those guys just ruined his life and got him bit by a shark. And he would talk. This dude Poopies still, he talks like this, dude. Oh, I remember when it was like 10th
So he's
grade.
like Steve-O, you're saying?
He worships those people. He worshipped those guys, and Steve-O.
But that sounds like you and Weck both the exact same impression of Steve-O.
This is Steve-O, and this is doing gay stuff in public, non-ironically, but it's like super funny, dude. We're all just gonna touch butts.
You
it's
and
not
Weck,
even a joke. We're just touching each other's weeds, bro.
you and Weck do the exact same perfect impression of that dude.
It hurt you. Will make your throat bleed?
This is Steve-O, and this is doing MK Ultra on babies and selling them to Jeffrey Epstein. Dude, sick, dude.
Like this kid Poopies that I grew up around, he was so funny. It was the butt of he was just always picked on and stuff. And then the Jackass guys took Poopies under their wing and turned him into their young new Jackass crew member.
Oh, no.
And then freaking threw him into they made him do the Fonz thing. Remember when the Fonz jumps on skis over sharks and shark infested waters? Dude, they got Poopies to. They're just like, this is the kid.
And you knew this dude? You say you grew up with this dude?
Dude, I grew up with this guy. I remember it was in like 9th or I was in 10th grade, and I was at 10th grade, and I like went to this kid's house, and we'd smoked pot, and I got way too. I was so.
Why
paranoid.
is he called Poopies? First of all,
I was like, I'm never smoking pot again. And Poopies I was so paranoid. I'm like, I had to call my dad to pick me up because it was like the end of the day, and I'm like, oh my dad's gonna know I'm high, and I was, it's high school stuff. And I got really paranoid. We smoked a bunch of pot at this kid's house, and I'm like, this is so weird. I was just really high. And Poopies like comes up and hey dude, you say you're not gonna smoke anymore. You want to give me the rest of your weed? I was like,
Dude's ready to capitalize on the situation.
yeah. Poopies was there. Poopies was a shark in the water. Poopies got his name because his friends used to tell him what to do. His name was Sean McInerney. He's actually a very nice guy. Like I always liked Sean, and I used to call him Sean. I don't think I called him Poopies because I knew he didn't like being called Poopies, but everyone called him Poopies, and they'd introduce him to girls, and they're like, oh, this is Poopies, and he's like, oh, what's up, dude? Like, no, kids, the chicks, like, ah. And he was he in high school or middle school before I'd known him. He his friends dared him to take a dump in the middle of the road, and then the neighbors saw it and called the cops. Everyone was doing Jackass, and in the 90 from 2000 till like 2004 or 5. This was the thing among our generation. It was we everybody was into skate culture and surf culture, and those videos were what spawned Jackass. There were like little segments of those videos where they'd do, they'd be doing pranks, and it was all Southern California hijinks stuff,
It's the stuff that
and so we all love that stuff.
Kyle and Beck are making fun of in their SoCal skits, right?
That was my childhood, man.
Yeah.
Inside SoCal, and everyone talked like that. Oh, just like, I was just feeling really down or whatever, because like, even my girl, and
dude, that's super sick, dude. Like I heard your dad was like throwing it, like gonna throw a party or whatever. That's super
like
sick,
at this low key kickback right now, and it's like it's about to like level up and become like a legit party. That was it, man. We were kickbacks, and but yeah, Poopies took a dump in the road as a prank, and his friends almost got him arrested, and the cops came, and because the neighbors called the cops, and then everyone called him Poopies from them. But then other people would make up stories and like, it's because he pooped in his wetsuit one time or something, like when he was surfing.
Well, the first thing that comes up is Steve-O's podcast with Poopy. So they just I guess it was a couple years ago, but I've never seen this dude. Well, the first thing that comes up is the shark bite, and then this podcast. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot that I didn't get to that story. So it turns out, I haven't talked to Poopy since maybe the 2009 or so. I haven't been to Carlsbad in a while. He was a super nice guy. Gotta say that. Poopies was hilarious and heart of gold. But just the kid that your friends are always goading into doing the stupidest stuff that you shouldn't do. Poopies will do it. That was like a saying. Poopies.
There's always a guy like that in your group of friends, that like the guy that will do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the guy who would do anything to impress his buddies, who wanted acceptance. It's a sad thing. These guys, they just want to be cool. They want their friends to think they're cool. He was everyone's kind of little brother figure who you make do the things that pop in your mind that shouldn't pop in your mind, and the things that the Jackass guys made pop into your mind. And so he was the guy that wanted to be like that. And then he ends up becoming friends with Steve-O somehow, or trying out for Jackass and getting on Jackass later.
That's crazy.
Dude, it's crazy. And it was just funny to see. I haven't seen the movie, but I just saw the aftermath and him talking about, he got this injury to his hand. He got bit by sharks, dude. They made him jump on skis.
Yeah, I'm looking at the clip here. I'd never seen this. Yeah, and he's like,
he worshipped Steve-O. He loved Steve-O so much, and I guess Steve-O. I can't stand Steve-O. I think Steve-O's like a total scumbag, man. That guy annoys me so much. He always was terrible. I remember his videos when he was doing ketamine and cocaine and stuff in 2007 or 8, like the Steve-O videos. That guy was completely demonic, and anyway, I'm trying not to get too serious about it now, but yeah, so they made him do the Fonz bit where remember Fonz jumps on skis over like a shark or whatever, and they put chum in the water, and they were filming for the Discovery Channel, and they put chum in the water, and oh yeah, Poopies do it. And these guys, he grew up worshiping these guys, right? And he's like, yeah, I'll jump the shark infested water thing.
Dang, dude, that's crazy.
And he got his hand bit, and he almost lost his hand. He could have died. And then I don't know. I think he's better now. I haven't seen his stuff online in a while, but yeah, man, he was a funny guy in high school.
Well, the last
clip, it's funnier in high school. It's more sad when you see him just getting his hand bit off because Steve-O, his guy.
Well, yeah, it seems like the ether, and I get the whole like when you're young doing pranks and that kind of stuff, but it seems like the psyop side of Jackass type stuff is like perpetual childishness, like not maturing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the temptation of any culture, but I think they're really pushed. I mean, now we're coming full circle back to early 2000s culture creation, California. Even though Bam and those guys lived out in Pennsylvania, the skate culture and that culture, the center of it was always California, and that's where all these guys would go to
Standard
get.
stuff.
I mean, MTV culture at that time was based out of California and in LA and all that, but. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, that is yes, it was organic,
Well,
and at the same time, it was something that was it's low production value. Jackass blew up. That was the biggest show in the world at the time, and this is at the same time Britney Spears and all this other stuff, and of course Abercrombie and Fitch, The Limited, all these corporations that Epstein had his hands on through Wexner were pushing the aesthetics and the clothing.
and the whole like spirit behind it, like all of this kind of stuff is all part. It's all
Yeah,
part
and
of
that's
the
what I'm
same.
trying to describe and get at. The spirit behind it is kind of for men, for young guys, it was self-destruct. It was the cool thing to do is to act like you're 14 years old
Yeah.
for your whole life
Right.
and destroy your body, destroy your mind, and become, just a party guy. And you're always partying and having a laugh and nothing
Yeah.
serious. It's nihilism. It's very nihilistic. And the aesthetic of it was even the skull and crossbones logo and all that stuff. It was heavy metal. And this was the edgy part of the culture, but really became the mainstream. I mean, with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, it kind of brought the skateboard stuff got really big, and they tried to put in the X Games got all big. And I don't think Jackass was. I think Tremaine is sketchy. I think the guys that really blew it up were sketchy. But Bam and those guys, they were young skate rats. They were the guys that were just at the skate park. And I think Bam was pretty sober until he got famous. But a lot of those guys, they ended up crashing and burning, becoming total degenerate drug addicts. And it's I mean, Steve-O's sober now. He's more annoying now that he's sober.
Yeah. Well, we need to get Weck on here. It'd be fun to get me, you, and Weck, and then Weck, because he's good buddies with Bam. We could try to get Bam to come on a chat. He might do that.
That'd be fun.
But that would be
Bam's
a lot.
Cool. I like
that'd be a really interesting conversation. Because he seems a little more level-headed now that he's kind of sober and whatnot. But some people in the chat are saying, "Oh, Punked was part of." Punked is a ripoff, and I know this because we've had long talks with Jamie Kennedy about this. Like Jamie, was doing Jamie Kennedy Experiment, right? And then after 2-3 successful seasons of that, suddenly you get Ashton Kutcher comes out with the exact same show, but it's just with celebrities. Only half as funny as the stuff that, I mean, if you watch Jamie Kennedy Experiment stuff today, it's still super funny, a lot of it. But it is in that era, though, of like, pranks overlapping with reality type TV shows. And I never really watched Jackass because, like you said, it was definitely in the skate culture adjacent type of stuff. And
sure.
I was in the
you were probably more mature by that time.
I was already
high school.
Yeah, I was already post college when people were really into Jackass. But
it came out when I was in 8th or 7th grade, and we had already played with shopping carts. That was already kind of a thing, and people had seen the CKY videos. So there in Southern California, there was already a part of the culture. And then when it came out, it blew up. We were just like, look at this. This is our culture. Like that we're being represented now. We're becoming, and then we're just like, we are the cool people now. And it was all downhill from there.
Speaking of that,
that whole culture got wrecked by it.
Speaking of that funny banter, I know you and I both like Kyle Mooney quite a bit. His last movie, I thought it was pretty funny.
The 2001?
The Y2K one.
I gotta see it.
It's funny. Like the funniest part is when Kyle shows up as this kind of stoner dude, but he's a stoner dude from the year 2000. So he only uses the 2000, like the 1999, 2000 era stoner stuff, like dank.
What does he say?
Everything like dank weed, bro. Like all of that stuff, dude. That shit is pimped out, bro. It's like
that's pimp. That's pretty tight, dude. Oh, that's pretty tight.
All of it. Yeah.
Oh no, it was super tight. No, you should meet this guy. He's tight. No, he's tight, dude.
That's
no,
the
he has
only
the
terminology.
No, he has the hook. He's got the hooks on all the danks, dude. From like from like
All of his
Humboldt or
lines in
whatever.
the movie are 90s
Dude.
stoner dude terminology. It's great.
That's fantastic. I gotta watch it. I'll get it.
It was
It'll be
funny.
fun.
And then his other movie
I
too
love
is
Kyle
pretty funny.
Mooney.
Yeah, Kyle's great.
It's amazing that stuff is so far back, because even when they were blowing up on YouTube, what was it, 2010 or 11, and you were still kind of close to that. And man, I can't believe how old I am. It's like I'm an old man now, man. It's 2026 already, and this is 20 years ago that culture is kind of petering out. I can't believe it.
Yeah, his I've liked his both of his movies so far. The teddy bear dystopian one is really. Have you seen that one? That was great.
I haven't seen either
Oh
one of
man,
his movies.
they're both great.
I didn't like what SNL did with them. They took our favorite YouTube, like the best YouTube guys, and they just put them as, filler. They wrecked him. But I don't know. They couldn't have continued to do YouTube, I guess. But
Yeah, I mean a
a
lot, but a lot of the SNL, Kyle and Beck skits I think are pretty funny too. They probably got censored some, I guess. I don't know, who knows, but I still think still think they're funny. But we got a couple more super chats here. We got Pepper
Dank super chat.
Dude, we got some Dank tight. Dude, these super chats
that's tight, dude.
These super chats, they're pimped out, bro. These super chats.
No, that's tight. That's tight, dude. Just go ahead, dog. It's all good, dog. Just tight. It's tight.
They're pimped out, bro. Mav, $7. Weck is the taste maker for the skate industry. Yes, he has actually appointed himself to that, but we actually all, I think, support that. Weck has been killing it on Instagram with these reels.
Weck's amazing. I love Weck. Weck's shout out to Whacking Ball. He's been on my channel once or twice. We had a fun stream together years ago, back in the day. I wonder if I could find. I have no way to get a hold of Poopies, because his social media is probably, you're not. I don't know. I don't expect to be able to get a hold of Poopies. It would be so funny to get Poopies on. I would love that. That would be. I just want to talk to Poopies just regardless, just because he was a funny guy.
But Weck's Instagram reels have just been killing it, dude. They're popping off. I don't even understand how to make Instagram reels work right. I try everything I can, but Weck is the master of that, dude. Like, he will do his own skit with him doing 10 different things and 10 different characters, and he gets like 1 million views. And I'm like, how do you do this?
Well, Weck blew up years ago, man. I mean, Weck's taking breaks, but he was big in mid 2000s, like 2013, 14, I think. He got pretty big, and he's maintained his clout. So he's got a very specific thing that he's doing, and he's surgical with it.
Bro, Weck shit is hella tight, dude. It's hella tight.
No, it's like tight or whatever, but like, I'm not trying to hate. I'm gonna hate, but like, he's kind of like, but I can do it with Weck.
Is he a poser though? Is he like a poser? Is it like straight up?
Weck can skate. Weck is legitimately a very talented skateboarder, and he's put in. I mean, that guy's done stuff that is very high level, and he's really Weck's. Not to just glaze on Weck. They'll tell him I said this, but Weck is a freaking amazing skateboarder. He should have been professional, and that's where he realized, oh, it's all just about how marketable you are, if you'll wear the cool clothes, or if you're gonna like show your butt. He realized that it's just about being friends with the right people, not even being the best skateboarder. And Weck's done a really good job. Manny Busters, that was back in the day. Manny Busters, where he would take these clips of the video and be like, "Oh, your foot touched, it doesn't count," and they would get mad. People wanted to fight him.
So mad.
They would get so mad at him, and but he made it so fun. And then Vice did that show about him, which was great. Vice came, and I remember that was a long time ago, 10 years ago maybe.
Yeah, we've gotten to be really good friends with Weck and them. We love them quite a bit. We hang out all the time.
With them, he means Weck and his alters and his
alternate personalities that I control. Correct.
Jay's got like a whole harem of people out there. Like Weck is Weck's handler. Jay is Jamie Kennedy's handler. Jay even named his mind-controlled MK wife, was what he calls her behind the scenes, MK wife Jamie. He named her after Jamie Kennedy, because Jamie Kennedy was such a good mind control slave to Jay here.
So I thought this was funny. So when I met Jamie Kennedy, when we were at his podcast at his apartment, I was like, dude, I'm totally like I'm totally like bugging, bro, because your stuff is hella tight. So I got him to autograph it, and he wrote, if you can see what he wrote, it says, to Jay and Jamie, these characters are my MK Ultra handlers. So it's got him as all of his different characters.
I told you guys, and what's really meta and crazy about it is Jay programmed all those altars by hand. Like Jay was there. He was there with the e-meters and the LSD and the gray alien costumes, just zonking Jamie Kennedy out of his skull in 2001.
Who was the first comedic wigger? I'm trying to figure out if that was Borat or was it actually B-Rad in Malibu's?
No, it was B-Rad.
Is it B-Rad or Ollie
G? Ollie G might have been after. Ollie G was different though. It was not American. There's a very different thing, American wigger and British wigger. But
actually B-Rad's Jewish.
B-Rad.
Yeah.
He a Jew boy?
Yeah. So Jamie Kennedy's character is Brad Gluckman. He's Jewish. He's a Jewish. So he's a Jewish white rapper. That's what makes it even funnier.
I'm just thinking about. I'm having flashbacks to early 2000s slang and late 90s slang, California talk. We would always be like, "Oh, that's tight, dude. That's tight." Well, that's always like he Jewed me on a sack. That's why, but he's tight or whatever. But like he fucking like Jewed me on a sack one time. Dude. Like I was getting like an 8th, and he gave me like, it was like short. It was like the nugs were all dry or whatever, bro. I was like, he totally Jewed me out, dude. So I'm not even surprised, dude. It's not even that I'm not trying to hate, but whatever.
Okay, so Ali G is 2002, and let's see when Malibu.
B-Rad was like 99, probably 98.
Jamie might be even vindicated here as the first legit. It's right around the same time. So,
but they were so different.
Right,
Jamie's was pretty original, and he did it. What was respectable about how he did it, it was so fun because it was like mockumentary style. It was he would actually mess with people, and that was the fun aspect of it.
No, that's actually, you're right, because the character comes out of the show, doesn't it? So
the show was, I'm not trying to hate on the movie. The movie was pretty funny, but the show was better. The skits were better because it was so improv. It was so in the moment.
No, I know, but I'm saying the character B-Rad, if I recall, he was actually a character in the show, because when Jamie was doing the experiments, sometimes he would be a white rapper, right?
That was the funniest character. B-Rad was the best character in the show, and then he expanded into the film, but the show was a better format for that type of writing that he was doing there, because he would write. You could tell he would write the skits before he did them, and he would do them like it was they were written. A lot of the jokes were written and they're brilliant, and then he would set up the scenarios where it would bring out organic reactions from people there, and that was, at the time, that was relatively new because it was it was lower cost of production, I guess, at that time. In LA, there was a lot of money going around for the reality type stuff, but he did the best version of that type of thing. Absolutely. Jackass picked up on that too, right? When Jackass brought on Brad Pitt, they kidnapped Brad Pitt in the middle of LA in front of everybody, and that was huge because Brad Pitt was the ultimate celeb, still is, I guess, but Jackass had an aspect of that too, of messing with people, and the Jackass stuff, some of it was a little cruel, but a lot of it was just about self-abuse, self-immolation,
exactly,
destroying themselves.
And then somebody has a good point too, that B-Rat or Borat, Ali G is making fun of like British chav type culture, and then B-Rat is making fun of like wiggers like Vanilla Ice. But Mav says for $7, Weck is the taste. No, we did that. Gravios, dude, he gifted 50 memberships, man. That's super hella tight, bro.
Dude. How do you even get a gifted membership?
Super hella tight, bro. That's straight up.
Dude, that's like pretty tight. What you used to do too is there'd be certain people, they would always say like effing, but it'd be like half mumbled. Oh, that's fucking tight, dude. Oh, that's so fucking sick. Dude, like, what the fuck? Oh, fucking sick, dude. Oh, what? Dude, that's fucking sick. That'd be tight. It's like, everything's like fucking, but it's really quick. Like the fucking's like, oh, I'm fucking sick of it, dude. Sick, dude. That's dank. Like, how do I get one of those memberships, dude?
Scam shampoo apartment simulator, $3. Something I recently saw about Orthodox Church was despite the kissing the priest's hand and the icon veneration, there's no recorded spreading of outbreaks of diseases throughout the centuries. Yeah, this was a lot of people were pointing that out during the COOF. Esoteric Hollywood Archive, $5. Good to see Tristan on again. I'd like to clip the Wicker Man analysis that you and Tristan did. Oh yeah, that'd be great. Do it. I just posted a clip on Epstein predicted programming in the 2016 video game Hitman. Yes, I shared that. Appreciate that.
Oh, it's tight, dude. It's tight.
It's hella tight. It's straight. Dude, that's so pimp.
Hella's NorCal though. Hella was when I remember when I moved up to Northern California, and Hella just blew my mind that people would say that. That sounds so stupid. But we always would see, oh, that's sick. Everything was sick and dank, but like, oh, Hella, that's a step up. I can't go there, man. You guys say Hella, and the way you pronounce your R's in the NorCal slang.
Charlie Cork. Yeah.
You got that Charlie Cork.
Got that Billy
Charlie
Cork.
Dank.
That Billy Corson.
Yo, I got that Charlie Cork, purple Urkel, straight from the.
Well, that's
from the plant. E40.
E40. That's like that E40 type of speech.
Yeah, that's the fizz movement, and that was a big influence. Actually, that was a national influence because all the crunk stuff was aping the hyphy NorCal stuff at the time.
I wonder what the British and European people are like. What are they thinking when they hear this like SoCal slang from like the 90s?
Yes, that's fucking tight, bro.
Yes. Watch. We start a trend now of British people start speaking with 90s SoCal slang.
Prince Charles will be returning to tradition of the early 2000s.
That was, of course, that was hella tight. That was definitely.
Excuse me, that would just hit me. It's real sticky, icky. It hit my throat so hard. Excuse me. It was fucking tight, bro. Yeah.
Is that Bay Area, Tristan? Is that Bay Area?
that Bay Area slang. Bringing that Bay Area slang. Bay Area like an aircraft carrier.
BM Duper.
Watch out, or I'll take your MK Ultra slave on my ferry out on the bay.
MK Ultra slaves presently invited to my raves.
Bay Area.
All right, so we got BM Duper says for $5. Here's a nightmare blunt rotation. Sweet Candy Owens, Nick Fuentes, Clavicular, Trent Horn, and Bishop Tilda Swinton, and then the blunt then goes to Tristana.
Yeah, and then all my MK Ultra SoCal alters come out, and you're just like, what is going on here?
Okay, so lot of fun catching back up. We got Radioactive says for $5. Christ protect you, brothers. Appreciate that, dog. Richard Adams says for $10. Have you guys done any Philip K. Dick stuff? Tristan and I have done several movie streams. I don't recall if we did a PKD. We may have.
I used to be kind of a dickhead back then. I mean, I liked a lot of his stuff. I don't remember it. He had great concepts, but didn't have an editor, so it really comes off. His prose sometimes is funky, but he had crazy ideas. And I loved his bio. He just
we need to do that too. We need to do Flannery O'Connor, and we need to do some PKD.
PKD, that's California. That is he had his finger on the pulse of all the strangeness that I was kind of hinting at earlier. He knew that stuff. He was around those crazy people in the 60s and 70s, and he was properly paranoid and freaked out in the funnest conspiracy culture kind of way. Very tragic character as well, but yeah, PKD was interesting. Scanner Darkly was interesting. We did that film, right? Didn't we talk about it?
Yes, that is what we did. And of course, that one of the top consultants on that film was none other than Alex Jones himself. He was
in it, and that's how I first heard of Alex.
In it, and he consults on it. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people.
The way I first heard of Alex was 2003 on Waking Life, because we loved Waking Life. And
Tristan and I did Waking Life too. Exactly.
Yeah, we loved we had Waking Life. This is so nostalgic. We had Waking Life, and we had what was the other movie that we all liked? Donnie Darko. When the Donnie Darko director's cut came out, me and all my friends, a few of my friends, we just got obsessed with that film. So we loved it was Waking Life, Donnie Darko, and Modest Mouse. That was like the 2003 for us.
Was it Crunk, Tristan?
Crunk? No, Crunk was past, I think, at that point. Crunk might have been 2002, 2001.
I mean, I
It
know
wasn't
that's like,
Dank.
you know, is immediately
It was
associated
Dank.
with Little John. So
I was like, it's pretty tight.
that's like
It's pretty tight,
early
dude.
2000s. Yeah.
Crunk in California, crunk was cringe. It was always like, we don't say that. We don't do crunk. We would make fun of crunk, but then you still listen. Like that was still played at 8th grade dances and stuff. Getting crunk.
Yeah, no, you're right. 2005 or 6. That's about the time of, you know, Little John. All right, guys. We're getting into.
Oh, I'm
Go
one
ahead.
thing. I'm like
Yeah.
a complete boomer. This guy when somebody gifts memberships, I never turn memberships on my channel. It's worth it, right? You should. Seems like something to do.
Yeah, it is. And then you make member content, obviously. So, you know, you got to have
Yeah.
a pretty consistent stream of member stuff. So, you know, what I tend
That's
to,
cool.
yeah, I usually make like 1 or 2 streams a week, you know, for members. So,
News 40's from California says, what about Harmony Korine? Oh yeah, that was always we always loved Kids. It was like everyone that would ask, have you seen Kids? It's so
yeah, it was the same
real.
in Tennessee too. It was Kids was a big deal because it had that
Kids was
Slacker Louisville, you know, Slacker Rock soundtrack with Folk Implosion and Daniel Johnston and all those weirdos on there. But
yeah, I'm not trying to hate on Harmony Korine either. I like, I mean, that movie Kids was intense, and the AIDS thing was ridiculous. But and it was, he didn't direct it. It seems like the director of that movie was a real weirdo to be around all those kids and have them they were doing drugs. I mean, they were doing whippets, and those were real whippets. They looked like they're smoking pot. It seemed like a lot of those
well, it
kids
was
got messed up.
Rosario Dawson, right, and Chloe
Yeah.
Savini. That's where they got started, right? That
Yes.
was their breakout
Yeah.
roles.
And then the best actor in the film, though, was Casper
Yeah.
And Telly. Oh, Telly was disgusting. That guy was the kid, I guess, that
Yeah.
played Telly couldn't go anywhere. People would try to assault him because they thought he
Oh,
was
wow.
real. They're like, you're a piece of trash. You're the worst person. He's like, look, I was playing a character. You know, I was an actor, and it ruined his life, I guess, he said. But Harmony Korine made one of the best films of the mid 2000s or like late 2000s. Spring Breakers, which
Yeah,
is
you
kind
and
of
I
hard
did
to
that.
recommend.
We did that, which is
Yeah.
like, yeah, loosely based on Jody High Roller, your boy.
Yeah, yeah, and Spring Breakers, I would say Spring Breakers sums up, encapsulates the weaponized pop culture of the 2000 to 2007, 8, 9. Maybe better than any other film. I'd say Spring Breakers is a great horror film. It's a very interesting movie. It's hard to recommend because there's some nudity. And
Well,
there's, like,
I'm glad I watched it after, you know, because you and I'd never seen it when we did our analysis of it, you know, several years ago. But I actually enjoyed it more than I expected that I would have. It was pretty
yeah,
good.
I was surprised. It wasn't what I thought it would be. I forget how I got to even see it. I think it was because it was Harmony Korine. I'm like, oh, well, I guess I got to watch it because I heard it wasn't what it was marketed as. He did a weird guerrilla marketing thing where they tried to pretend as if it was what aesthetically it looks like.
Yeah.
But it uses those aesthetics of Spring Break, MTV, Cribs, rapper culture, Limited to. I mean, that's the Jeffrey Epstein movie. And Jeffrey Epstein isn't Alien. Alien is, you know, I don't know what Alien is. That character that James Franco plays is crazy, but Epstein is kind of the fabric that that type of that an Epstein type person is the fabric that's like holding together the molecules of that world in that. And remember, it starts out they're watching YouTube fights. You know, they're watching.
Oh yeah.
They're in the dorm rooms and there's like pot and drinking, and the girls are singing pop songs, and also they're watching. What's the bare knuckle fighter? He joined UFC. I'm blanking, the black guy. He was like the thing back then. Kimbo Slice. They're watching Kimbo Slice fights with, like, back in the day with George Masvidal and Kimbo Slice.
Like bum fights, street brawl, yeah.
Backyard bare knuckle boxing fights. And that just something about that, the aesthetics of that violence and the virality and the internet culture combined with like the bubblegum aesthetics, and they're wearing the pink colors and everything is neon lit. That movie is so haunting. And then remember the Britney Spears song? They use that the Britney Spears song, and they're dancing to it.
Oh, I forgot about all that.
Automatic weapons.
Yeah.
There's this weird dream sequence where it's that really pretty Britney Spears song. What is that song? It's like
I don't remember.
It's like her prettiest song, and it's a great sequence though. And these girls who are they're just completely mind warped by the pop culture, and they become these violent demons who are bringing the white male to destruction ultimately. An alien is this white guy who's a complete wigger. Is just like, why y'all acting suspicious? Like that movie. Oh man, I'm just babbling about nothing now. But yeah, that movie was Harmony Korine's masterpiece. I would say it's a great.
Dude, I'm gonna have to get on LimeWire after this and download some of those songs from Britney.
Yeah, Kazaa Plus, you can get it on Kazaa. You can get that for sure. It'd be like tight, dude. It'd be sick.
Dude, if I download that from Kazaa, I'd be hella tight right now.
It'd be hella sick. Yeah.
All right. I was actually there doing it on Napster, bro. I was Napstering MP3s.
Well, I remember Napstering the CKY videos back in the day. Back in '99, we would get the CKY videos.
What is that?
Watch those.
CKY.
That was CKY was before Jackass. So CKY was BAM, and CKY can't stand for Camp Delete Yourself, and it was basically hijinks videos with some skating, and it was BAM and all those guys that ended up going to California under Jeff Tremaine and building Jackass, and then they brought in Steve-O and those guys. But yeah, it was back when it was kind of skate video culture still, and the CKYs were pretty intense. It was early Jackass, basically all the same stuff, shopping carts, and then we would go to get the shopping carts, and we we'd hurt ourselves in those. It was very influential to us as kids.
Dude, I'm so about to pimp out my MySpace right now.
Pimp your ride? You're gonna pimp your ride?
My MySpace.
Hey, how do you? So when somebody gifts those,
I'm gonna pimp out my. They actually gave you that mod for your MySpace at one time. You could do the code, like you put the code into your MySpace to pimp your MySpace.
100%. I don't remember pimping MySpace. I remember you could egg somebody's MySpace or toilet paper it. Remember that? Forget how that works.
Yes, I do remember that.
My question though, I'm sorry, I'm a boomer. As a boomer, how do you when somebody gifts memberships, how does that even work? So how do you claim a gift membership?
Just means you immediately, it's automatic. Like they have access to all the member stuff on my YouTube channel.
Somebody gives 50 memberships.
Yeah, so they gave 50 $5 memberships to 50 people.
But how do those people get the membership?
It's automatic. They can just click over and they're already subscribed to my members content.
Oh,
it's automatic.
How come I didn't get a free membership from his 50 members?
Nobody wanted you to have that. So you were actually discovered to not be
unblocked.
You were discovered tonight to be neither pimped nor hella tight.
All right. Well, if somebody gives 1,331 memberships, I'm one of the persons that's watching the stream. So I will then get one.
Somebody gift Tristan a membership if you guys can. You might have to be in the chat or something. I don't know.
I have to unblock you probably.
Damn.
Give me member. Look at all my shit. Look at all my shit. That was the scene in remember that scene in Spring Breakers where he's jumping? He's like, I got Scarface on repeat.
I have not watched that since you and I watched that in 2018. So there's a lot I don't remember.
It's so funny. That scene is like, it's everything, dude. That scene is the 2000s encompassed. He's jumping on the bed. He's like, look at all my shit. He's got all these guns and like shoes and hats. I got dark tan and oil. I got Scarface on repeat. I got Scarface on repeat. Look at my shit. That's the best. Give me. I type in the chat. Give me.
Tristan says gives me that. It's gives me that. There you go. Gives me that.
Give me.
Anyways,
no, I'll just jibber jabber with you forever because I had coffee before we started. And
dude, it's like my 8th hour streaming today. I'm like, my mind is mush, bro.
That's what I told you. I said we could do it another time if you want.
Mine is no longer hella tight right now, bro.
Yeah, well, it'd be like sick if we could like do more or whatever one day, but I don't know. I'm kind of busy and stuff. I'm like,
let's do it. Just
don't know,
my
dude.
mind is so
Yeah,
totally not sick right now. So like I'm totally healthy right now. So
that'd be hella
but
sick.
it would be sick for us to do like another tight stream or whatever.
Yeah, I'd be like really fucking sick, dude. I'd be really fucking sick. I'd be so fucking sick. But yeah, I appreciate it, and you know, you're a dear friend. You're a friend of the channel and a friend of the man behind the channel. You're an actual good friend, and I appreciate you. I'm
Do
not trying
can
not
we
trying to get all.
expect Tristana to make a reemergence? Will there be new Tristan streams? Should I mean I'm
I'll
gonna
do yeah, I was gonna say I'll do stuff on my channel. It's gonna be there'll be a dedication page. So Jay Dyer, who never gave up on the channel here. And I know everybody watching, half your audience probably doesn't even remember the old streams that we used to do. Most of your audience probably just thinks some
you're some rando
absolute
noob that just popped onto
some
the
new.
scene. Like who's this noob?
Nah, dude, I'm hella sick.
This
I'm
guy is
hella
hella
sick, dude.
tight, bro.
I'm super sick. Actually, no, we're not allowed to use hella because
I'm
that's
not
that's NorCal,
from
dude.
the Cal area, so I can do
My
whatever.
culture is not your costume, Jay Dyer.
I don't mean to appropriate your culture. Let's see. We got Super Chat Suko, $10. Jay, did you see the Vatican will host Muslim Hindu prayers in the Basilica against trafficking? Oh my gosh. Even Lofton posted a short on it. No, that's crazy. I'm gonna have to cover that on the next stream. That's wild. All right. So Gravios, by the way, another gifted 20 memberships. Awesome, man. Appreciate that. It's a lot of gifted money memberships here.
Guess who still doesn't have a membership? Me. So we're gonna need another.
I guess he's trying to give it to you. I
gifted.
don't know. So
All right. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not enough.
I think Tristan wants
Not enough.
20 memberships, even though he only needs one. So
I'm gonna make 20 alts. I'm gonna make as many
Yeah.
alts as I have MK Ultra alters from
Alters.
growing up in Southern California and smoking too much pot as a young lad. But anyways, yeah. Hey guys, make sure to continue to support Jay's work with giving him abundant gift memberships, and he's got to get some. He has to buy Dank nugs so that he can nostalgically try to relive my childhood. And but yeah,
I'm
no,
gonna
there'll be
buy
more stuff on
all
my
of
channel.
the all season DVDs of Jackass and start with episode 1 and just work right through every season of Jackass, all the DVDs tonight.
You have to know every frame of every skit. But yeah, there'll be more stuff on my channel for sure.
Right,
I'm
cool.
gonna do cultural analysis, and I'm gonna get on. I'll do some Substack stuff as well, and I'll try to do something a little different than I used to. Just try to do it in a way where I enjoy it more, and get some more writing and stuff, and do some more lit analysis, and we'll see where it goes. It'll be fun though.
All right, guys, remember, head over to chalk.com, choq.com, the best in supplementation on the internet. Chalk is the best when it comes to Bayes, Red Pill, Toxic Masculinity supplementation. Use the promo code J60Life, that's JY60LIFE, to get 60% off all those great Chalk products. And we will be back very soon with more live streams. Check out today's interview with Father Turbo. Everybody seems to have really enjoyed it. It was a very moving conversation. It's not what I expected, so it kind of hit different. You know what I'm saying? And Father Turbo streams, they hit different, but it hit different in a good way. You know what I'm saying? So again, hella tight stream, pimped out. Y'all have a good night. Dude, that was awesome.
Yeah, always fun. Always fun.